Hey, how do I set my VCR? See, he doesn't even know what a VCR is.
Yeah,
so.
I was born in 94 and I grew up poor. I know what a VCR is. So
technically you're still a millennial, so you're okay. Yeah.
Zach, can you help Mike set the clock on the podcast?
I can't.
Yes.
It keeps blinking at me, and I just...
That's the record. It says it's recording.
Okay. So I'm broadcasting now. We just so you know, we broadcast to a certain level of our Patreon supporters. So it gives us a fun little, sometimes we'll have a little live audience kind of reaction, which I enjoy. But people have to pay for that privilege. And I like that too.
And they pay a hefty amount.
And they're going to hear that. And I'm going to, guys, I'm so thankful for your support.
Yes, very thankful.
The sincerity was palpable.
Yeah. In fact, this whole beginning part is not actually part of the show that will be in there anyway. This is the our Patreon exclusive part, just to give them a little extra something.
Yeah.
The Patreon preamble.
Exactly.
Yeah, normally when we were doing the podcast, we would chat before anyways, like kind of warm up. So we figured we'd just let the Patreons in on that, you know.
Yeah.
Give them a little behind the scenes.
We give them a little direct chatter.
So what you're saying is waste not, want not.
100%. Except for we wasted that good bit about the intervention for you.
Yeah.
And
I was ready. I was going.
No, you were. This is not on you. This is 100%. I will take this. I didn't prep you at all for this. I don't know if you've listened to any of ours. It's fine if you haven't. Okay,
I've
that's
listened.
good. All right, that's good. If you have any new stuff, we'll give you time. If you have any recent additions, it doesn't have to be Star Wars. It can be anything that you want. We had one guy on here who just kept showing us literally everything in his toy room for.
I thought like trips to the grocery store. Like I bought some cereal. And here's some vegetables I bought.
No. Yeah, did you go to the grocery store today? Like, did you get anything good?
Here's some fertilizer for the yard.
I got this Rockstar.
Heck yeah.
I know. So for me, Rockstar is like one of those double-edged swords. Swords. I need it for the energy. I rely on it for the energy, but also I know one day I'm going to drink one too many cans of these and I'm going to get diabetes. So it's like how many times can I use the ring to do cool stuff before I slip into that whole ring? Before the ring gets you? Exactly.
As he takes a swig.
As I take a swig.
Right. You got to finish the can.
I can't not finish the can. It's delicious. I'll be honest.
That's how you get the prize at the bottom.
But I'm good. I just went to the eye doctor and they do that test for diabetes, and he's like, "Nope, your ocular nerves are looking.
That's cool.
They're looking spiffy." And I was like, "Thanks."
But it was a doctor recommended by Rockstar.
100%.
No, it's on the can.
It's on the can. So I got the number.
Worried? Call our doctors on staff 24 hours.
No, I did have to go back and get extra glaucoma testing because my eye pressure is high, I guess. So who knows?
Pressure's high all over.
I know, right? I'm like,
glaucoma?
do you know what it's like outside? Because I do.
What do you use to fix glaucoma out in California where you live?
There's no fix for glaucoma, man. You can't
help. What do you use to help it out in California?
Are you talking about pot? Are you talking about marijuana?
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
Just asking.
Are you talking about the THC? I do have my medical card, and I do have some edibles in my closet downstairs that I pop, on a special occasion. But it's not something I partake of often.
Show us your card.
It's digital, man. It's digital. It's on my phone. Okay.
So it's like Apple Pay.
Yeah.
You just you tap into the dispensary.
No, you know what's
so
weird.
Can you screenshot that to me? I could use it.
I can't. What's weird about it is, so like in some place like San Diego proper, you don't need a medical card. But where I live, a little city north of San Diego in Vista, you could it's legal.
Is that near Poway?
To use. It's a little bit north of Poway, but it's closer to Poway than San Diego. So Poway's in between Vista and
near
San
Escondido.
Diego. Yeah, actually, absolutely. See, there you go.
See, I know my area.
You know your area. Yeah, it's a little bit more west of Escondido, of the shore.
You mean West Escondido, which is what we would call
exactly,
it.
Yeah. It goes Escondido, and then it goes San Marcos, and then it goes like Vista, and that's the order of cities as you go west towards the coast. But anyways, so I literally go into the local dispensary. It's right down the street. Their building is painted with butterflies and rainbow stripes, and it's very colorful, very pretty. And
is this a nursery?
No, it's just actual dispensary. No kids were involved. In fact, you have to have an ID to get in. But
there was a place to take a nap.
100%. They had a nap time. But they were like, okay, but you need a medical card to buy from us. I was like, okay, I didn't need one done in San Diego. But like, well, you need one in Vista. But the way to get one is I literally filled out a form. It was like my name, the reason I need marijuana, which I put anxiety.
Zach.
And then
you just put Zach's name as a reference, right?
I put Zach's name as a reference. Then I hit submit, and then less than 5 minutes later, I got a phone call from a doctor who said, with my best estimation over the phone for this appointment, I believe THC would help you out with your anxiety. And then he emailed
and here's your
me,
Rockstar coupon.
Here's my Rockstar coupon. Yeah. So that was that's how easy it was to get a medical marijuana card. And I did have to pay $50 to get one as well. So there's
probably worth it. Worth it.
It's good for a year.
It pays. It's like Prime. It pays for itself.
It pays for itself. You get free shipping 2-day. That pot comes next day. It's great. Anyways. Whew. So we don't have any news today. There's
crazy.
Been no official Black Series news since the last time we recorded one of these. Not even rumors. I don't think we've ever been this strapped, this dry for anything to talk about. So thank you, Ken.
You're welcome
for being on here, because otherwise I don't know.
Well, I actually here to deliver all the news. I found this packet outside.
Oh, hell yeah.
Awesome. No, it's good. I'm glad. I was
about 3 dozen repaints.
I'm cool with that. I got a couple myself to show off for today. If you want to give us any of the latest DuckTales news, that would be cool as well.
Well, there's a new book out, and that's about it. And there's an Epcot adventure coming to Disney World.
Cool. Woo! That's what I meant to say, actually.
Yeah. Beyond that, there's nothing is happening.
Nothing's happening, which is so sad.
Did everyone get their November 3rd Halloween troopers?
Yeah, we actually had those.
Because I didn't.
Oh, wah, wah. I don't have the werewolf trooper figure, the Wookiee.
The
Walmart, yeah.
And is it Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store? Which one? It kind of went.
I have it on the notes that I hastily jotted down 5 minutes ago, but my Wookiee came in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, so I just have to ship my pile of loot.
So you're saying is Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth are the places now to get Walmart exclusives?
Exactly. All your latest Walmart exclusives can come from,
because the TV stuff, the TVC stuff went there as well, right?
Yeah. Basically, and
is that Walmart just throwing up their hands?
So I have a theory about this, but I'm going to wait for the podcast proper to talk about it. Not the cool Patreon, the super cool Patreon that we love preamble. You
need to come up with a cool name for what this is.
Patreon preamble, I thought was pretty cool. It's got a little alliteration on there. I just came up with that right now. It just came to me.
But you got to make it like Galactic Patreon preamble, or
can you do too much Star Wars? Can you really Star Wars up your Star Wars related podcast? That's true. No, that's a good point. I'll call him. I'll be like, hey, hold on.
You got him on the direct line.
Yeah, Patrick.
You're in their pocket.
What's up, buddy?
Patrick doesn't answer the phone.
No, he does not answer the phone. He barely acknowledged my existence when I was standing in front of him. He had the air of importance about him. I
get a sense that a lot of that team, just for self-preservation, stares past people around.
100%. Although I will say, Eric stared right into my soul.
Too.
Eric stared into my soul, and I felt the love down to my bosom. Are those words?
I think that required
I don't know.
the quiet moment that it got.
I need I need to get HER on this. All right. Well, I think that's enough. That's like a 10-minute preamble. Patreon members, thank you for the people who are still part of our Patreon. For the future people who join Patreon, who are going to absolutely go back in time and watch this. I feel in my heart that you will, and welcome.
Yeah, to them, you're welcome.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get on with the actual pot as soon as Zach's done drinking.
I'm sorry, I'm an alcoholic.
Well, this is interventions all around.
Yes, so we're just going to have a full-on intervention. The name of this podcast was going to be Ken Plume's Force 5 because that's just very straightforward. It is what it is. But I might just change it to something intervention related, like Black Series intervention.
Interventions.
Interventions, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. I'll have to message Sean after this to like, yo, we got to change this. Ken Plume's out. Interventions are in.
Because Zach's an alcoholic.
Zach's an alcoholic.
And we're all hoarders.
Yeah, we're all hoarders. It's so true.
And Mike's going to go blind.
100%. I got
from
glaucoma.
Being addicted to Rockstar.
I did have to get a stronger prescription than because I haven't been to the eye doctor in like 8 years. And I went in, I'm like, I just need new glasses because my glasses were breaking, my frames were breaking. And they're like, it's been 8 years. We're not gonna give you anything new until you get a new eye exam. And I was like, fine, I guess. What kind of racket you guys?
Well, I think right now the Black Series Cantina drinking game, sponsored by Rockstar, is every time Mike mentions his eye issues,
is my issues.
You take a drink of Rockstar.
Woo!
But if that's the drinking game, you're already
hold on. I have to make it so the can is on screen here so everyone can see.
Get that sweet paycheck.
This Rockstar by Rockstar is very good.
Yeah, otherwise it's that dollar store Rexstar drink. You don't want any of that.
I really do I love this punched flavor. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, collect that check, buddy.
Powered by Rockstar. I would. People are like, oh, they're such a sellout. Everyone would sell out.
There is no check. You were paid in Rockstar. They just send cases to the house.
I'm just going to die.
It is a vicious cycle.
Yeah. I'm going to come in a wheelchair, no feet, and I'm just going to,
trying to navigate all the empty cans on the floor as you're wheeling around.
It's like that episode, was it South Park with the World of Warcraft? That guy is like leaning back. He's got like 5 Rockstars energy drinks like littering his desk. That's 100% me.
Yeah. You'll have to clear them off the area.
Yeah. I'm not even going to say in another life that's me. Like that's just literally... I didn't like that episode.
Imagine where your desk looks like.
I felt like
empty cans everywhere.
I felt seen in the way you don't want to feel seen.
Oh, well then build a little wall with Rockstar energy cans and they won't see you anymore.
No one can see me.
Yeah, to stack all the cases that they're shipping you up.
That's right. I'm just going to change this podcast to Rockstar Collecting Podcast. So we're just going to talk about different Rockstars we try, collect.
It's the Rockstar Cantina.
That's right.
Yeah.
At the Rockstar Cantina. All right. Welcome to... Yeah? Yeah? Should I start? I'm going to start.
Intro. Just do the intro.
I would do the intro?
Do the intro. Welcome to Black Series Cantina.
Hello, my name is Mike. Yeah, and we got Zach, and we are here with episode 32, which is approximately 33 more episodes than I ever thought would get made of
Can
this
we
podcast.
Guess what figure is number 32 in the red line?
Oh, we
haven't done that in a long time.
We haven't done that. We always do this for the number on these. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the wave with. Was it the wave with like Obi-Wan and Leia, or was that the 20s? Oh goodness. Okay. This is riveting podcasting for the people at home.
I get to determine which one of you I think is right. Right?
I'm just going to look it up now.
Oh, you just gave up the game immediately.
I just gave up the game. I'm getting prepared to look it up because we need a definitive answer, but I'm not going to look it up.
We are going to get it from Zach. Clearly, who knows?
I
believe in you, Zach.
Okay, I think it's Jaina Solo or Snoke.
Zach, your answer, please.
I'm gonna go something like it's got to be around the Last Jedi time, right?
Oh, it's after that.
After?
I'm pretty sure it might be. No, it might be.
No,
you might be
Redbox
right.
was Force Awakens. They switched to Redbox for Force Awakens, so they released a ton of those. So then, I mean, Last Jedi might even be in the.
I feel like 30s. I feel like the 30s though were on Solo time. I'm pretty sure 38 was Tarkin. I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to say it's the Praetorian Guard. That's what I'm throwing in.
Just
Praetorian Guard. I'm
just gonna do like Poe Dameron or something like that black jacket one.
Okay, the TLJ. The TLJ Poe Dameron. Okay, I'm gonna say Snoke.
All right,
so we're gonna go to visual guide.
While you look that up, I'm gonna introduce Ken Plume is our guest on the show today. From
Hi
Ken
there.
Plume to Force 5.
Hi.
Hi.
I assumed you were looking up the rest of the bio.
What are you doing?
Are you both looking up the answer? Is this what happens?
Do you have the answer?
Mike, you had this ready. You said you had this ready.
I had the page holder ready, but I didn't like click on anything because I didn't want to spoil
What's acceptable is clearly this is a feature you've never done before on the show. So
we know we
you wouldn't have a process worked out.
I was right the first time. I was 100% spot on with the first figure. The very first figure I said, it's
Jaina?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But it was not the answer you went with.
No, it's not the one I went with. But when I said, I'm pretty sure it was somewhere around that Obi-Wan Kenobi wave. And figure 32 is 100% A New Hope Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So what are the rest of the figures in that wave?
The rest, we had Darth Revan, we had Princess Leia, we had the AT-AT driver, we had Sabine Wren, and that was it. Those were all the figures.
So half of those figures have seen a re-release.
Snowtrooper as well. I think all of these figures have seen a re-release. They've all been
because the anniversary card back and archive.
Princess Leia was both in the anniversary card back and archive. AT-AT driver was 40th anniversary ESP. Yep. Obi-Wan Kenobi was just re-released in that Cantina Showdown and in the
anniversary. Sabine had the photo reel update.
Count. We haven't gotten a proper Obi-Wan re-release, which is just a straight up face tech, but a normal Obi-Wan on a card.
No, the Cantina Showdown's as close as we got, but you're right.
Update.
Yeah, exclusives don't count for people who don't have deep wallets.
That's fair. That's fair.
Look at the wall behind you. I know your pockets
Darth
are deep.
Revan got released, and then the Snowtrooper got re-released. So this whole wave has been re-released at some point, which is good because, honestly, it was one of the best waves of the time.
But it did need the upgrades.
Oh, yeah, because they were all
for sure.
Pre-face upgrades. Yeah. Pre-photo reels.
Photo reel, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of night and day differences when you compare those figures.
Yeah. It's not even close.
Yeah. The photo reel update's just like it changed the game for collecting, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.
Now that Ghost Obi-Wan has photo reel, doesn't it?
It does not. No, it does not.
Pre-photo reel?
That was pre. That was pre-photo. Yeah, that came out in 2017, so that would have been pre-photo reel.
Which is the only Obi-Wan I have.
I mean, if you're gonna have an Obi-Wan, why not the dead version? I guess.
He's not dead. He lives in the Force.
He's his body's dead though. Like, no one's gonna argue that he's alive.
You have the best Obi-Wan right next to him though. The Clone Wars one.
The Clone Wars.
That is the best one. Yeah,
that's my favorite figure in the whole line, by the way.
That figure is your favorite figure in the entire line.
The entire line. That's my number. That's my favorite figure.
What did it displace? What was the previous number one?
Oof. Oh my gosh. That's tough.
And what criteria are important to you when it comes to determining a number one?
I like that Ken is interviewing you.
I know, right? I feel like this is my podcast. Why am I being interviewed?
You can't alpha podcast Ken Plume, okay?
My all valid questions.
My favorite figure before that probably could have been. It was probably the Empire Darth Vader, maybe.
That one came out. Yeah, that was before. No, you're right. That's good.
And then what I care about in figures is honestly how they look. Like posability is cool, but I don't do anything crazy with the poses. It's just mostly pretty vanilla. So as long as they look pretty accurate and they're like smooth to mess with when I mess with them, then I'm happy.
So figure smoothness is important to you.
Yeah, figure smoothness is kind of a big deal. Like the Dark Trooper, whenever you bend the knees,
it's like butter. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like cutting through like hot butter. But you know, if you go back and mess with there's a figure I had recently that it's just like So, like, whenever you get some of those old like trooper bodies that they re-release every now and then now, like the ankle pivots and like the knee, they're just so like, it just feels like you're
loose,
messing with a car, or like they're just so tight and like, it's just crazy.
On the episode of Force 5 that I was on with Ken Plume, we had both just gotten Saw Gerrera, and he has that one robot foot that's like, it's either
too
a
far
little bit
or
too low or too high because of that ratchet on there, where you can't just get it. There's no way to get it just straight.
There's no easy sweet spot.
Right. So, and that was a great segue into introducing Ken Plume. And I did that 100% on purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us interviewing podcaster extraordinaire, podcast interviewer for pretty much every famous person you've ever heard of. He's on Weird Al's Christmas card list. He still talks to Stan Lee every once in a while, even though,
and sometimes he answers back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ken Plume of Ken Plume fame.
I kind of like Zach's intro now.
That's fair. I do not do this professionally, so you're gonna get an amateur.
You do. You've talked to enough
interview.
people now.
That's true. Sometimes I just like to do it badly on purpose to see how people react. Ken, introduce yourself.
Yes. Oh, please. It's my turn now.
It's your turn.
Hi, everybody. I'm me.
Yep, nailed it. It feels like a Space Ghost Coast to Coast interview.
I mean, that's Zoom in a nutshell.
Basically, that's true.
There's no way it's not going to be with the latency of Zoom.
Yeah.
It's going to be full of awkward pauses.
Oh, yeah. And then you also have that weird talking over each other because, like, you both want to say something and you both start talking and then you both stop talking and you're like, okay, no, do you go? Do I go? It's like the beginning of
it's verbal chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, so Ken, I actually did not know who Ken was until he reached out to me, and he wanted me to be on his show, Force Friday. And I was like, okay, who's this nutcase that wants me on their show? That's weird. And I looked at a couple of the episodes at the time and I saw all of his view counts and I thought I could beat that. And I did.
And you did
for a while until Dan Larson went on and he dethroned me for your number one Force 5.
You facilitated.
I did.
You're
I facilitated
usurper.
My own downfall was someone that I
welcome to the internet.
You to. Yeah, no.
It happens. It happens.
Yes. So Ken has a show where he talks to, collectors and various people of various levels of collecting and fame, casual collectors, real like the hardcore, people questioning your sanity. Are you a hoarder or what's going on with that kind of level of collecting? And he wants you to take your 5 favorite figures from any Star Wars line, any Star Wars scale, and talk about why.
And rank them. It was difficult for you to rank them.
And it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And even after I was done, and I'm talking with Dan about going on your show, and he's like, I don't know. Like I knew what his number one was before he even said it, and he knew what his number one was. If you know Dan Larson, it's the Boba Fett. But like I woke up to so many text messages because he's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, and he's like, I think today it's gonna be this, and I'm like, dude, you just gotta choose. You just gotta choose 4. Like that's not hard. Isn't on paper choosing 5 toys to talk about on a podcast is not a hard thing to do.
But it seems the ranking is what has thrown most of the guests for a loop. Is then 100%. Putting that element where you have to go, well, what is number 5? What's going to be your least favorite of the 5 favorites you chose?
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, if you had me do it again now, my 5 would be completely different, to be honest, because it changes.
Tell me.
It's in a constant state of flux.
What got bumped off the list? But what got bumped off?
You can't just drop that on me.
I just did.
No, you can't.
I did. No,
I refuse. No, I refuse. If you want to know my current list,
you know what? Drink some more Rockstar. Then you'll be
game
for
back
it.
on
I
yours.
think we need Mike 2.0 on the Force 5.
I want to beat Dan Larson's score.
We're going to get in our Force 5 fight spinoff where I'm going to have you and Dan on. We're going to, you two are going to present your figures, and then I get to choose which one of you made the one that I think is better of the two.
Oh, that's actually
that's a decent
good
idea.
concept. That's a good idea. So Ken, why Force 5? Why? Yeah, why start this? What prompted it?
Where did it come from?
You woke up one
What's
day
the
not doing
inspiration?
this, and then another day you were like, I could do this.
Well, I'd always, for many, many years, had done conversations and interviews with folks. So that was something that I do quite often, just having a conversation on things like A Bit of a Chat, which is the podcast which has had a couple hundred episodes over the years. And it really has just been about conversation. And then in recent years, I've really kicked up my my Star Wars action figure collecting. Also, thank you, Pandemic, for that. And then I decided, you know what? It'd give me an excuse to justify all of these purchases. And it might be fun to talk with people about what their favorite things are. Because as you said, it is an ever-changing list. Based on, your list may be solid until the next thing gets announced and you go, that's incredible. That's now at the top of the list. Or at least that's bumped off this other thing. So I thought it was a good, anything like this. You look for what's a good conversation starter to talk about anything that you might want to talk about. And this seemed like a good gimmick to have a fun conversation with somebody about something that would justify all of the money that I've dumped into it over the past couple of years.
Smart man right there.
I one of the reasons I like doing podcasts and my YouTube channel is anything I showcase on it suddenly becomes a tax write-off. So
that's another smart
You're
man.
not supposed to say it out loud, Mike.
I'm saying the quiet part out loud.
It's the rock star talking now.
That's what it is. 100% gone to my brain. Yeah, so I have watched every episode that he's done so far, and he's had some incredible.
How would
guests.
you rank them?
Oh, okay.
Steve Evans was a great one.
Steve Evans was a great one.
Was that a surprise to you? Because you obviously have, as a collector, much longer than I have, and known about this. Speaking of the Black Series and how integral he was to the Black Series, was it surprising? Because, I have found there aren't a lot of in-depth conversations out there about various and sundry with someone like Steve. Because usually they're put in a position as someone who works for a company like that of trying to talk with folks as little as possible because there are revelations, there are company issues, corporate issues to be wary of. Something like that being out there in the casual conversation is somewhat of a rarity. So was that a surprise to you both as collectors long term?
100%.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily a surprise because Steve, if you follow Steve on Instagram, of course, he's so open about his passion for collecting. So that he probably wants to do more stuff that's community facing, like podcasts like that or whatever, but he has to deal with the PR side where he has to get approved through them, and then he's also working his tail off for Hasbro, so probably doesn't have the time. If he wasn't getting paid by Hasbro anymore, he would probably start a YouTube show or a podcast. So maybe not surprising is not the word, but very intriguing, I would say.
Intriguing is a better word.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I was surprised when I saw his name on it. I was like, Steve Evans,
2.5 hours. What?
Yeah, right? Yeah. You know what? As I get older, I love long form videos so much, and I prefer them to shorter videos. And I don't know when that changeover happened, but the Jenny Nicholson videos, if I'm seeing a 3-hour runtime on it. I'm like, yes, sign me up. Action button reviews like Tim Rogers.
You want to go 3 hours on True Blood, Jenny? I'll watch it.
Exactly, Jenny. Yeah, I don't even care about True Blood, but I'm gonna watch your Vampire Diaries or whatever. She just did one on the Evermore.
Oh, did she release a new one? It's been ages.
Yeah.
I stopped checking after a certain point. It was like, okay, maybe she's just obviously like a lot of people do, when you do things like this, sometimes you reach a point where you're like, I want to do something else besides this. Because it is a grind.
It is a grind, 100%. No, but she just released one on a random kind of LARPing attraction park in Utah called Evermore, where the cast members are characters and they want you to be fully immersive. And the whole park is a huge failure. And the whole thing documents like its inception to her visit there to it was fascinating. It's almost 4 hours long. And I could have watched another 2 hours of it, to be honest with you.
And I bet another 2 hours of it does exist in some cut that she's done.
Probably.
Well, I mean, if there's an almost 4 hour video, then I guess I'm fine with the departure she's had for so long when it comes to producing new content, because obviously it does not take a short amount of time to produce a 4 hour piece of content.
No, and she does costume changes too. Like she goes full on. She's like an elf. She's like a wizard. Like, there's a lot going into it.
As long as the giant spiders are still behind her and
they're still
all
there.
this.
They're still there. Yeah. So,
I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily attracted to like long form videos, but with the podcasts I listen to, the longer the better, because I typically listen to them while I'm at work, and it just makes some of the mundane work go by faster. So
it's Sonic wallpaper.
That's exactly what it is.
I've actually gotten some feedback from some of our listeners, especially when we first started, because we tried to keep the episodes kind of short, but
around 2 hours, less than 2 hours. Yeah.
People were saying just go like as long as you can, because they listen to it when they drive, they listen to it at work, and they like people talking about toys. So,
well, we're gonna break them. We're gonna break them of that today. Be careful what you wish for. No, it is. And certainly on stuff like when you're watching YouTube stuff, where I generally, a lot of times, won't even be watching it. Like if I'm in the car driving someplace, I might queue up a video for some content provider that I watch and just listen to it as I'm driving, and that's the way I have the time to take in their new content. So watching you or Robo or doing a review, and I'm not even watching the video. You're like, well, here's the articulation. Look at the paint here, and I'm just listening to it.
Yeah, it looks great, Mike.
And then it auto cues up to the next video randomly, and then I often find, I don't know if you all this way too, when you're just sort of having it on the background. There are some videos on the internet I've watched or listened to at least 36 times because I won't stop them. They're just auto queued up. It's like I've heard all of this content before. I don't know how many times I can listen to Mike opening his Geek Fuel for the past 8 years in one sitting.
Jeez. I do that with with our friends at Out of the Basement. Literally the other day, I was listening to Justin's vlog that whenever he got the new Black Series wave, and I was just cleaning the kitchen and cleaning the dining room, and I just had it on in the background. And then whenever he said he found a figure, I'd take a peek at my phone just sitting on the counter. Sorry, Justin, I didn't actually watch it. I listened to it, but I still gave it a like and the view. So
he watched it with his ears.
Yeah,
and that's what's important. Yeah.
You engaged. You still engaged with it at some level.
I engaged.
Yeah. And that's all YouTube cares about, is that engagement.
Yeah. So I expect a thank you text now for.
Yeah, you were there from start to finish. Yeah, but you'll never see it.
And you let the ads run full.
Yes, because
you didn't skip anything.
Yeah.
So I say we start chatting about toys, and let's move into some fine additions.
Okay. All right.
Let's. I'll go first because I don't have much at all.
Oh, okay.
I know
that's fine. Yeah, go ahead. Let me figure out how to make you big. I can do this. There we go.
Look at that. We're fancy. So this is the one I got literally 20 minutes before we started recording. and Ken already brought this up. I got
Look at you.
what do they call it? The Skull. Oh, it's just a Clone Trooper Halloween edition. But I like calling it the Skull Trooper, right? Something like that.
I say Skeletrooper.
Skeletrooper. That's a good one. But yeah, finally got him. This is my first Black Series plastic-free packaging, and first initial comments, it's pretty slick. A lot better than the Marvel Legends. I've seen those on the pegs, and Marvel Legends plastic-free packaging, it looks very cheap. And I understand why people like visually don't like that. But this, it's like sleek. And because I know they're keeping this format for the mainline regular, where it's just like the darker background and like the render
gloss
right
finish
here on the front. Yeah.
The gloss finish is very nice.
sleek.
I love the little, like the Minoc for the bats and the little ice spiders.
That little detail is really
I
cool.
love that. I love it so much.
The one thing I don't like is this is fine. The big giant plastic-free packaging advertisement on the side, like that's not bad. I don't like it on here. I know this is a nitpick, but I don't like it here on the corner. Like it's a all black slick thing, and then it's just like this gray white advertisement for the PFP down here.
But they need you to know.
It's right here, Hasbro. You got a giant rectangle on the bottom.
Yeah, but sometimes you look at the box
this
on
one
the
off.
front. If it's stock to the side, then they want it on the side. If it's stock to the front, they want it on the front.
I just wish
I
that wasn't there, and
understand
then the Hasbro was dropped into the corner. Then it'd be a little better. But that's just.
I don't understand who's picking up that box and going, I wonder if this is plastic-free packaging. And then they look at the advertising. Oh, it is plastic-free packaging. I noted with the complete absence of plastic on the packaging.
No,
like
wait a
how it
minute.
says-
There might be plastic inside it.
I like how it says in like there's a little like star, and underneath it says except for tape and glue. It's like, oh, I didn't know
Except
the
for tape and
tape
glue.
was not plastic. Thanks, Hasbro. And then
No, they've got the new.
my second fine edition was the John
Favreau.
Vizsla figure, which I'm pretty excited about. So finally got Dave, George, and John Vizsla in the collection.
Sounds like a knockoff of the Beatles.
Well, that was his
I know,
character's
yeah, it
name
really
in
does.
Swingers, wasn't it?
Yes, that is 100%. That's the Swingers.
And this will stay in the packaging because you can actually pull it out and see it. So I'm going to put it right up there with my Dave somewhere. I think that's Dave. Yeah. So yeah, those are my only two fine editions for toys anyways. So now I'm going to pass the talking stick to
Let's do
one
Ken.
of you
Ken,
two.
you got anything? It's cool if you don't, but I wanted to give you the
Are
opportunity.
you Zach, generally an opener, or you
Yeah.
keep them in box? So it was only because of the unique packaging on the
Yeah, anything
Paz
unique.
Vizsla that
Anything unique, if it's cool enough, I'll buy two of, like that Kenobi, the Clone Wars Obi-Wan. I got one, and Anakin, I got one open, and then one like in the
retro packaging.
in the vintage packaging. And then so anything unique like that, I'll buy double of. Like you can see up here, I got some of the Phantom Menace throwback packaging, and then I have like those open on the shelf too. So mostly an opener for mainline, but when they do the throwback stuff, I like getting at least one to look at the card.
But is it different now with the plastic-free packaging? Because you just showed, like, I'm going to leave the Paz Vizsla in here because you can open it up and see him. You can't do that with the plastic-free. So what's your determination on that?
And that's the tricky part, because I probably would normally leave this like Halloween thing. I probably would leave that in the packaging, but I'm going to open it because it's plastic free now. What saves me though is now that they announced they are going to do plastic for like the throwback packaging, I can still have like whenever they eventually do, hopefully a Revenge of the Sith, that Darth Vader fire throwback packaging, have that on card. But for mainline stuff, it's going to be like all open.
Oh, I'm going to open it.
Yeah.
And I know you're an opener, Mike.
How dare you?
I know you're an opener.
Yeah.
Filthy
opener. I might surprise you. Yeah, what do you got, Ken? Ken, do you have anything? It's cool if you don't, but
I got
please
John
do.
Vizsla. My
Okay.
John Vizsla came.
Yeah.
So here he is, all posed up with his helmet.
How do you like that face?
You know what? I don't think it's their best work. I don't like face painting that doesn't have an eye focus.
Okay.
And his eye focus is really weird. Like you can't get a proper focus. He's always
you don't
looking.
know where he's looking.
Just no matter how you adjust that head, he's not. I don't know how yours is, Zach, but he's always just like he's a little bit spacey.
Yeah, mine looks like he has a lazy eye.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit like he's tired. He's super
Maybe
tired.
John
He's just like
has a lazy eye.
He looks sleepy. He looks
like he's
focused.
just here going. Did I get eggs? I know I need to get eggs for that
You
recipe.
just ruined this figure for me. Every time I look at this on the shelf, I'm gonna think like, did I get eggs?
Right? This
Like
is did I
leaving
get
the
eggs,
store.
Vizsla?
Gee.
Mike, grab yours. Where's the eyes on yours? We need to know the eyes.
Yeah, I know that's one of your fine editions, Mike. So you
Of
can
course,
go
it's
ahead.
one of my fine editions. Everyone got one. Let's see.
Does everyone have egg eyes? Also sounds like a
Yeah.
character in House of the Dragon.
Oh, egg eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Egg
Lord
eyes Targaryen.
Eyes. Yeah. Egg eyes Targaryen. I do the left eye is just slightly
Enough off to where he doesn't have a focus.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
where he
one
just-
of those things you'll never notice it until you have a guest on your podcast
And they
who's
ruin
like-
it.
Ruins
And
your
they'll ruin it.
fun.
Yeah, any listeners, if you didn't get it, this is officially for sale. I'm going to give you a 50% discount because I don't like the figure anymore.
That's not
Free
true.
shipping, 50% off.
I mean,
DM me.
wait on that. You'll get that in Ollie's.
But yeah, this is like the fourth time they've done this body like
It's
3
the
or 4
fourth
times. Yeah.
Paz Vizsla I've bought.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you got what the
He's a sucker
carbonized?
for the credit collection.
The- oh, the
I
credit
got the
collection.
collection, the
Carbonized.
carbonized, and the regular one. And none of them have a shield or a knife. And then the vintage collection ones, like, check out this really awesome one we're releasing that's way more accurate than the
So
Black
what you're
Series
saying is
version.
you're incapable of Haas Vizsla.
Oh my god,
Yep, that was
There's
worth
your
it.
too late.
episode title.
I know,
Totally
right?
worth it. So here's the thing: is that the George also has a soft focus to his gaze too.
Is it the face printing? Is it the eye printing? Because they're using just
Well,
dots.
I mean, the
instead
problem
of,
with any of the face printing,
yeah.
anything like that, is as someone who also is very keen on Muppet history and lore and design, is a very narrow window when it comes to focus, where the placement on eyes, are focused. Like right now, this is me staring down the barrel of my camera, but the
Right.
camera is separate from my screen, which is
Yes.
slightly behind it. So I can be looking at you all on the screen, but you can tell that I'm not looking directly into the barrel of the camera
Yep.
because, humans are super aware of eye focus. Or, any animal species is super aware of eye focus because, it is, just a natural it's a safety measure to know where the focus of something is. So, and that's why we would complain so often on painted faces on figures when the eyes would be off. Like, I'm sure just like me, you went
Yeah.
through numerous boxes to pick the one that had the eye focus that you liked. And you can
yeah.
hold two figures
Every
and go,
time,
well,
yeah.
this one's staring slightly off to the left. And sometimes you get that because you like, side-eye Luke. Sometimes you like the emotion that would happen because of improper painting on the eye focus.
See, and that's why
So-
Todd McFarlane does that on all his figures. He just leans into it. He's like, all of his figures are just looking up.
Sometimes the
Looking
eyes
up
are
that
printed
way.
on the side of the head just to really drive home that he's going to be the focus on everything for his figures. So, yeah, things like that irk me, because I'm very much an on-model person when it comes to wanting figures that are accurate, which makes some of the fact that the Black Series is a lot of times based on early figure designs before things are
Yep.
finalized. Be a little, okay, well, I mean, I guess we're going to see hopefully another release of this that's accurate to the media.
And then
Which
you
is
gotta
no
pay,
guarantee.
Yeah, and then you got to pay, for it again. So
Yeah, or, that's why people much more talented than I, customizers have a field day making them
Yep.
accurate. So, it was getting the Favreau, which is, not inexpensive because
No.
it certainly has that exclusive upcharge for giving us the Happy Hogan head that they already had a model of.
It's a different head. It's a different head. I'm gonna die on that hill. It's
You know what?
Different head.
I was joking. I'm sure
it's a different
it is.
head of the same guy.
I'm sure it is enough of a different head that they can go, it's a different head.
It's a different head, man.
But they had, still for the
right.
cost of a figure that they have gotten a lot of use out of that mold.
Mm-hmm.
I could honestly do without the packaging. As a person who opens the stuff,
same.
Having an upcharge for packaging is somewhat annoying to me.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
If you're going to add $10 onto a price for packaging, hard pass. Then have like two tiers. Have people who love packaging, just have Lucy sales.
Just
have figure Lucy's.
Just put a little plastic bag.
Cardboard coffin.
Yeah.
Ship it in a cardboard coffin or something.
Or that, yeah.
If it's going to be trashed, if you really want to save the planet, Hasbro, offer people that are going to open it anyway and don't care about packaging the opportunity just to buy it loose from you.
Just ship it directly to me.
Yeah.
I'll take one of everything. No boxes.
You know how to do, we've seen it in the new plastic-free packaging. They know how to do the bracing now inside cardboard.
Yep.
Just send a plain cardboard tube. Heck, you could probably shove these things in, a cardboard like poster tube.
Yeah.
I think so.
Like
yeah.
8-inch
You can put
tube.
a couple in them. Just like a long poster board.
Yeah, there's your
tube.
troop builders.
Yeah.
Have a troop builder tube.
A tube of troops. A tube troop.
Tuber.
There you go.
Yeah, our troopers. But yeah, I would like that possibility in the future, because as and might be a subject that you are already planning to talk about, but the pricing crunch is becoming very real when it comes to determining what you're going to get.
Yeah. Speaking of
what
price
justifies
crunch,
it.
I want to jump in here real quick. That TVC Boba Fett Kenner Target exclusive that's going to go up next week now. $20 and is it $20.99?
As people call it, the Boba tax.
Yeah, that's insane. A TVC figure being over $20 to me.
A repaint of an already released figure, a straight up, and an already released card back.
Yep.
Yeah, that Black Series started at $19.99, and now that TVC figure is over $20. Like, that is
for a figure that has had. Now that figure is in its fourth release
for the Return of the Jedi.
For the Return of the Jedi one, it's at least the third, because that's the same mold I think they used for the Droids release, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I think you're right.
So, I'll quickly go through the other acquisitions that came,
because we're still doing this. Yep.
I finally bit the bullet since they canceled all those orders, which was my hope for getting it, and got the original Black Series release on Rex, which I hadn't had. Because the thing that annoyed me immensely, this is all annoyances now. This is my grievance cast with you all.
Yeah, bring it out.
Let it out.
Was getting
the
the Bad Batch version and thinking, oh, this could be a Rex because it's Rex.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted just a simple Rex, but it has the ARC Trooper, so the visor attachment as a permanent fixture on it, which is fine. I just had it displayed to the back, so you won't even know it's there if you're viewing it from the front. Fine. But knowing that underneath this thing he doesn't have his pauldron means you can't make a proper Rex figure out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't include that, knowing that a lot of people wouldn't have had the chance to get that original Rex and would probably be picking this re-release up as a Rex for their collection, and not to just give him, even if it was a pack-in of the pauldron that you could just slip over, because we know they produced them for those Clone Wars ARC Troopers they released.
Mm-hmm.
That was annoying immensely. And then I guess, they had dangled an archive possibility for this for ages and additional orders, but then canceled them all rather unceremoniously a few months ago.
How do you feel about the unpainted back of the helmet on that one?
On the Bad Batch?
Yeah. Isn't that the one with
the
the
Bad
back
Batch doesn't have,
The fact that I don't look at it
He doesn't care because it's covered in
it was fine. It was more, if you're looking from the front, him having the pauldron, I would have been happy enough with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one I didn't get because I was like, I already have the regular Rex. Don't care to have the poncho.
Yeah.
on them.
I mean, you're getting a poncho and less of a Rex.
Less of a Rex, yeah.
Although I do like that this has a shinier finish. I like the matte finish a little bit more because it looks like it's weathered. Mm-hmm. Like this feels more like on the helmet feels more toyish because of how shiny it is. Mm-hmm. Compared to the duller finish on this looks to me a bit more realistic in hand.
Yeah.
And the armor has a shine to it on the original and he's got super floppy ankles. I don't know if it's just mine. Is it yours as well?
No, mine's pretty good.
So
the only thing on mine is the heads are the opposite problem. The head underneath, the original one I have from the Red Box line has a nice matte face, but it's digitally face printed.
And the one has the sweat finish.
Has the sweat face, yeah, that glisten.
I haven't even looked at mine. Okay, so that's pretty matte. Mm-hmm. Now, let's see what my bad batch is. Oh yeah, but to be fair, if you're in that helmet the whole time,
yeah.
So this is the more realistic. But again, back to that eye focus thing. I kind of like the newer Bad Batch focus than the original. The original has more of a blank eye. You really can't see it with the
kind of dead eyes.
Yeah,
it's missing that spark.
Yeah, so there is more. Like, I guess a lot of people will do that dull coat spray, which I've never bitten the bullet on wanting to spray my figures down.
Yeah, Zach's done that on a couple of his.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. To me, it helps like a lot, especially because Black Series, they just come out of saunas now. Like that Reva figure, and I'm trying to think of who else. The Cassian Andor.
That
Moff
Padme.
Gideon. Just all of them that have come out lately are just like super, super sweaty faces. And they straight up denied it. I just want to say that in their questionnaire.
It's the gym
I say
edition.
that every time,
Thank
but
you. Yeah, Eric denied it when he was on Lukeness Monsters.
And Chris denied it when they asked him in one of the
I don't
things. It's like,
I don't know why they just don't answer.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to answer with something that is like blatantly, come on, you see it. Don't deny the reality of whatever. You know, it's fine. If there's some kind of reason why and you don't want to tell us, just go say, hey, that's something we really can't comment on. Don't gaslight the community.
Well, what are you
That's
talking about?
the thing.
It's not glistening. There's no shine to it.
Yeah. Well, let you see it. Ain't
Maybe
nothing
the
there.
whole Star Wars team just has a where it all kind of looks a little halo-y.
Are they on the Rockstar too?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be.
yeah, I'm
I mean,
almost
they're-
questioning like
glaucoma part.
they get their like final prototype and it's like super perfect because it's like the model
could be
figure.
that,
It's
yeah.
like hand painted, and then like they don't even ever see the mass release version. You know what I mean?
Or
Like,
whoever's setting up those displays
Like, is
is
that
knocking
it?
them down with dull coat before they put them out
You
there.
see it?
Yeah.
And then the last big things that I've been getting, because I have been curious about customizing things. Thanks to, referral from Mike's channel, getting onto Landspeeder Luke and seeing some of his weathering stuff. But
Yep.
what I thought would be a good way to test out my nascent to non-existent abilities when it comes to that was the $5 figures that you can find at places like
smart.
Five Below. Have you actually held these in hand?
I've seen
I've
them and
seen
I've
them,
picked
but
them
I
up,
have not bought.
I've never
Because
purchased one.
they, it's almost zero articulation. I mean, it basically is back down to, so here's the Mando. He has no leg articulation. He can swivel at the hip. He's got the arms and the head. That's it.
So 4 POA.
But he's got cape and a great sculpt. Like, the sculpt is amazing. He's only 2 colors. He's the silver and the brown. But which means that I think it's, basically go to town at $5 seeing what you can do with this thing as just a shelf piece. And he's pretty close scale-wise to... he's not that much
that's actually
small.
It's not bad.
I've actually seen some people take the helmet off that.
Yeah, because they say the helmet's better.
Yeah.
But at
Clone Command,
$5, it's a low risk to take, and they've done a Grogu that comes with the bassinet at $5. Speaking
That's
of things that are coming up,
than a Black Series figure.
And that amazing release they're coming up with.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get that one.
But look at like the Luke Skywalker that they've done. I haven't opened yet. I could open that right now if you want to see what the Luke looks like.
Give us a face review.
But like they have a Vader that's also great. But this seems like it's fun to buy something that's inexpensive now.
But you don't really care about,
But also feel that it looks good.
Yeah.
Like it's not, we've all seen garbage sculpts over the years. Oh, it is, and it's the... I was about to say plastic.
Plastic-free packaging.
It's all plastic-free.
It is.
Because even the hooks, which used to be plastic...
That's probably better now. So
this does feel like opening an egg roll, though, when I get these things.
The Jack in the Box came back with an egg roll, and they put Luke Skywalker in it.
I miss Jack in the Box. That was always fun, because you felt like you were eating around the world. On one menu, you can have an egg roll, a taco, and a cheeseburger all in one order.
I've never had Jack in the Box, by the way.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I've seen him, but never had
So
one.
I won't say this is quite Mark Hamill. I don't know exactly.
Sad.
I mean, to be fair, he was pretty sad.
It looks like that original Black Series figure in the blue line.
It does.
So I wonder if that is just a scale down of that sculpt then. Do either of you have your Luke handy from that?
Technically, yeah.
I mean, he's, again, swivel hips, no leg articulation, arms and head.
Yeah, that's not bad for it. Does it come with a
But
saber,
$5
too, to plug in there?
So, yeah, it does look like, a slightly scaled down... No, he's got more... So, he's got, like, a bowl cut.
Yeah, he's got a different, more bowl cut kind of...
Yeah, and the Black Series, that came out in, like, 2014 or...
2014.
2014.
But, as far as customization, I mean, again, it's not a bad sculpt when it comes to the outfit.
No? It's really not.
Yeah, not bad.
And you can practice your painting on it, and if you mess it up, oh well, $5.
So that's my recommendation: is try picking up some of these $5 figures. And again, the Bo-Katan, which I also have not opened, which I can open real quick.
Yeah, that's when you could like really weather up and practice on that.
Which Luke has done, right, on his channel.
I think so.
Mike, didn't he do like a whole? We went to a town on his Black Series Bo-Katan.
He does for all of them, for a lot of them, for the majority of them. I would say.
I wonder how many of his figures have been unaltered.
That's a good question. I could text him. Like,
yeah, ask him.
Probably.
See if we get an answer before the end of the recording.
Let's find out.
That's a good question.
Tell him we're opening up takeout figures right now.
How many figures do you have in your collection?
I mean, again, you got
the ones he just bought, probably. That's probably
you got three paint. No, two. You got two paint. No, three. No, it's three paint. So basically, your base
the brown,
plastic
gray,
color is the gray. You got the brown, the white on the helmet, and the blue is the only paint on this thing. But sculpted in is the jetpack, so you could actually paint that up if you wanted. You could paint up the armor on the front, do a wash on it. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about.
You're hitting all the words. The jargon you're using is spot on. Yeah.
But if you have this sitting on your shelf and you're just, a static display, this is a great representation of Bo-Katan just sitting on the shelf.
It really is.
I mean, the weapons are molded into...
We got Guns Akimbo going on. That's your only pose, but it's a good pose.
So basically, this line really is, if you did, it's again 4, but if you did like 5 POA 3 3/4 figures in close to a black scale figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're getting the size, for, folks who talk, and I'm not pointing any fingers, about, I don't like 3 3/4 because they're too small. I got adult hands who need adult figures.
You got big
Also,
boy
I think
hands.
Robo says that. This is sort of the closest thing to capturing having childhood Star Wars figures with like an adult scale.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you got a point. And they're pretty cheap. $5.
Yeah, I mean, come on, $5
Who
compared
cares
to
about $5? Yeah.
the base price now is what, $25? $24.99 is the new.
$24.99. That's the retail MSRP.
So just think, all of the figures you just saw is still $10 less than what a single figure would be now in the Black Series.
And now I'm about to show you $400 for the Black Series figures.
But they're all the same repaint.
Oh, basically, yeah.
Yeah, they're all clone troopers, right? There's just here's the holiday, here's the Halloween one, here's the Christmas
It
one.
is. Yeah. Everything's a repaint now.
Well, let's go big on your picture. Let's bring you in.
Okay, let's bring it in. So, I mean, obviously, I can start with Paz Vizsla. I got Paz Vizsla, the Jon Favreau.
Been there, done that.
He's right there. Yeah. So I can still, proof of life, I guess. And then, I did go in on this Amazon 3 pack. That's again all repaints and slight remolds and one extra accessory with the Mandalorian season 2, the Ahsoka.
But is the Grogu the only remold? Was there anything else mold wise that was changed?
The Mandalorian has a different leg armor, and he's got a different back thing, so you could put the staff on his back. I think I haven't. Yeah.
So they stuck a hole in him.
We already had a hole. Now I think about it.
It's like an added clip like this, and the spear slots into it.
Yeah,
and it like grasps
I don't know.
it.
I put my pruder down on this when he was coming out next year, and I thought to myself, that's next year Mike's problem. And then Amazon was like, just kidding, it's coming out now. Yeah, so thanks Amazon.
Which I love that because those shipping is making me a lot of money. Let's just say that from the links. I'm just saying.
Did they
posted the link? A lot of people bought it. They're shipping, and I get 5% on that until December or until January.
Suckers!
It's been amazing. Use my links, people. Use my links. I really appreciate it, especially around Christmas time.
Mike, did you use? Are you one of the? Did you use his link?
No.
Wow.
No, I refuse. I refuse. No, I use
Zach,
my
if
own
I had
links.
ordered it, I would have used your link, which I can say now because there's no way to prove otherwise. But I definitely would have.
Okay. I got
support
a
you.
response
I've always supported you, Zach.
I just got a response from Lance Peter Luke. Does anyone want to guess what percentage of figures he has that he has not made changes to?
You say 40%?
He just saw the text.
Oh, it was a group text. Oh,
it was just in our group text.
Boy, this was a fast game.
That was a fast game. Thanks, Zach. Now I'm never going to use one of your links. Now I'm never going to use one of your links.
So over half of his figures have been customized.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Speaking of Lance Peter Luke,
on display though, probably 25% unaltered. So if they're not altered, they're like in a bin probably.
So that makes me think. I would bet that the large amount, because he is a wide collector as far as I've seen of the line, a deep collector, that it's probably a lot of variations in like a bunch of clone troopers or a bunch of this or a bunch of the same character that has remained unaltered, and that's what's counting towards that 40%. But as far as his display being a lot of unique, like, this is the Vader I choose to display, or this is the, like, those are the ones it seems like he definitely is going to customize.
And I know he makes them like super, super accurate to the screen, and like he brings the details out in the figure that Hasbro won't paint. Like they used to whenever the line first started, when they added so much paint on them. And now that they cut back on some of the detailed paint, like, the Cobb vans with the missing silver pieces, and he like will put washes on them and just makes them look absolutely incredible.
It's
and buys
weird to
custom
think
heads.
that I remember, because I've always occasionally will pick up a figure. It's been a lot more in the last couple of years, going a lot deeper. But when the Black Series was introduced, I knew this just as an overall collector, and that it was introduced as a prestige line.
Yes.
It's like, these are the ultimate versions. You're paying a premium because these are premium figures.
Yep.
So we're going to give you a ton of accessories. We're going to give you, the best paint possible at the time. These are going to look, as much as, obviously a major toy manufacturer is going to do. We're still, we're not Hot Toys. We're not SH Figure Arts. We're not Medicom, but mass produced. These are going to be like the cream of the crop of mass produced figures. And we're selling you on that black, sort of like the black card. This is the elite Star Wars figure. That was the marketing of those figures at the time, and to see that sort of price drop away to where first you had the weird thing where why are these what scale is Black Series now? That confusion when they did away with the vintage collection and just threw everything into Black Series moniker. That was confusing. Then when the quality of everything across the board is sort of tanked, like it seems from someone who was walking through aisles at the time, and you can tell me, I'm curious to know your thoughts on it as long-term collectors of the line. Around the sort of late Force Awakens era, that seemed to be when you were walking down the aisle, and when the 3 3/4 inch was thrown into black, like you'd walk through and go, that's when the wonky eyes and paint jobs and things like that Poe Dameron that haunted the aisles every time I would walk down, and sort of like jump scare every time you'd see it on the shelf. That seemed like, oh, this means nothing. This is just another mass toy line. Like it doesn't feel like they've ever come back from that period.
I think they switched to like quality versus quantity, and they went towards, and I personally don't mind it as like a deep invested collector in the line, to where I guess their approach now is we're going to put everything out and the quality on each individual figure is going to come down a bit, but we're going to do that because we can push out so many figures. So now we get background characters, we get all these, because they were just doing like 4 figures a wave, and then 8 months later they announced the next wave after you get like 1 or 2 exclusives. And then so when the line first started, it was slower, but now it's more of like a mass release toy line, and I kind of prefer it. Like I'll sacrifice some paint on figures so I can get like Figure and Dan and Neil and Cheel coming out at the same time, and some random like alien characters that like the guy from Force Awakens, Constable Zuvio, and just characters that we might not get. Like what's that characters from Solo?
There was no way we were not going to get Constable Zuvio, though. If there's one thing the conversation with Steve made absolutely clear was that was a cornerstone of that first wave of figures.
They needed him, yeah.
That was the only alien representation in that first wave of figures.
Yeah. So I think quantity versus quality, and I'm personally like okay with the direction they've gone with how much they release.
But the original Black Series SRP was $17.99, right? $19.99.
Yeah.
So we've seen a dramatic price increase along the years beyond inflation, or what the price increase should be if it was keeping track with, like we probably should now be up to this point at a $23.99 even price point max for the line if you were going up with price increases of the past 10 years.
But plastic has gone up a lot more than normal inflation has, especially since COVID, and especially with the shipping containers, how they like quadrupled in price during COVID. So that's probably why we've seen because it did jump to $22.99 and then it jumped to the $24.99, right? Am I wrong on that? I think it's because of, I think it's because plastic went up so high and shipping went up so high, which is their two, biggest like logistic things that Hasbro, like the toy line deals with.
But the only thing we don't know in all these metrics is how many figures they're actually selling, which actually dictates what their cost is.
Yeah.
And what the profit margin is that they're trying to preserve or increase with this.
Yeah.
So, that's the only thing that feels, that pinch coming in, because they're not slowing down the amount of releases they're doing at these higher
No, in
price
fact, they're
points.
speeding them up.
Yeah, they're
so
speeding them up,
according to Inflation Calculator on usinflationcalculator.com, if in 2013 something cost $19, and I'm putting 19, not even 20, but I put 19, it would cost $24.21 now.
Okay, so that's about right.
How long do you think that'll hold?
Oh, I'm hoping it will hold for 8 more years. Because here's the thing. So I put in 1999, and the inflation calculator bumped it up to 25.47. We went almost 6 years in the line, 7 years in the line without any price increases. And inflation goes up every year. So every year they didn't increase prices even by a little bit meant that they were making less money on.
But we also none of us know what the base cost of figures were.
No, that's absolutely true.
So it may be that the cost of the figure is actually $1.95 for them to produce.
I don't think it's that low, but I know what you're saying.
But again, in that indicator, we don't know what the profit margin was of the original price of the figures.
No, you're right.
Which meant that they could hold out the line for that long.
But so to one of your points earlier, I wanted to talk about, and I haven't even finished my fine editions, by the way.
Oh,
we're
did you
having
get past
too many
Vizsla?
good conversations. We keep going down too many rabbit holes.
But I've been collecting since the first wave in 2013, and my stupid brain has cataloged each and every change as the year has gone. Like the first wave. You're absolutely right. They're putting in like the R2D2, the Darth Maul. They're like, these are the ultimate versions.
Here's
You'll never
14
need another
hands
version.
for Han Solo.
That was in the second wave, but he was also the only one. Like Boba Fett came with the same things the new Boba Fett's come with. He comes with his two blasters, and that's pretty much it. The second wave had Boba Fett, Greedo, Slave Leia, and Hut Slayer Leia. Sorry, Hut Slayer Leia. Disney. I didn't say slave.
What's on the box? Is it Jabba's prisoner on the box? Have they already adjusted?
No,
I
believe it's. I believe it's a slave outfit. It says slave.
Leia.
It says Princess Leia Organa's slave outfit. I'm pretty sure is what it says.
Yeah. And it's got the Disney logo on there.
The Han Solo is the only one that came with like everything. The Leia came with two different like sticks,
staff things. Yeah.
Greedo came with the gun, his one blaster, and Boba Fett came with two blasters and removable jetpack. That why would you ever remove it? And that Han Solo was the only one that kind of matched the first wave, where the R2D2 came with the rocket jets and all the different things to stick on his head and all that stuff. The Darth Maul came with the robe, the alternate head
thing,
the binoculars, all that stuff. The Stormtrooper
Saber
came with like 5 different guns or whatever. But then I feel like after that, they were like, let's tone the accessories down. Where
didn't Han also come with the Stormtrooper belt?
He came with the Stormtrooper belt, the regular belt, alternate hands, the Stormtrooper blaster, and his regular blaster. Yeah. So I believe of all the figures,
he was comprehensive of A New Hope.
Yeah, he was the entirety. The only thing he could have come with is like the head, like the microphone thing. And I don't know why they didn't just throw that in there, because they got the gloves.
Did the farm boy Luke? Did he come with the Stormtrooper belt and blaster?
He did not. He came with binoculars and a lightsaber, and that's it.
Not even a poncho.
Not even a poncho. No, you had to get the land speeder to get the poncho and the long
bucket
gun.
hat.
Yeah, the bucket hat.
And the bucket. And the long rifle.
Yeah. The things he never actually wore in the movie, but everyone knows he has because of the deleted scenes that no one's ever really seen, that everyone's really glad they took out of the movie because they weren't very good scenes, and it just kind of prolonged the movie unnecessarily. I I have feelings.
Finish your fine editions.
I got fine editions, guys, but no, it's a good conversation, and we can pick it
It
up.
is great. We'll pick it up right whenever you're done.
We'll pick it up. But speaking of Landspeeder Luke, remember when we were talking about Landspeeder Luke 45 minutes ago?
Yes.
He sent me some things.
Ooh.
Yeah. Basically, all the figures he didn't want from his holiday figure review.
Oh, it's Landspeeder Lukemas.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. Well, so this one, I got the Wookiee from GameStop. That's one that I got because I love that they specifically painted this Wookiee to look like the Bumble from Rudolph. Like, I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Hasbro. You nailed that one.
That's specifically the one I want most from the holiday line.
I got the Protocol droid. This one came from Landspeeder Luke, so it's actually open and everything because it was on his channel. And I think it's kind of fun to have something from Landspeeder's Luke.
You have the one.
I have
from his
the
channel.
one from
gotta
his
keep that
video
thing
in my
sealed.
collection. Exactly.
You got to keep it.
Is that the possessive? Is it Landspeeder's Luke?
Landspeeder's Luke's. Landspeeder's Luke's.
Lands?
This one he got for me from Disneyland because he went to Disneyland. This is the gingerbread clone trooper. So it wasn't the one he used on his video. It's just the one he bought for me because I wanted it. And then lastly, the one that I actually wanted the most was the Scout Trooper because I love me a Scout Trooper. This is the Walmart exclusive.
That comes with the Grogu, right?
That comes with a little Grogu in the bag, which I really like. So
yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, I'm gonna open them when I collect them all, and I'll do my own
Now,
video for it.
Can you string some LED lights to the speeder bike and put the Christmas version of the Biker Scout on them?
I mean, I 100% can, and you know what?
100%
Should I use the traditional colored speeder bike or the white speeder bike?
The white one for sure.
The white
It's
one?
got to be the white one.
Yeah, it's got
More
to be the white one. You're
Christmassy.
right.
Maybe
No, you're right.
maybe for all your holiday videos, that's just blinking in the background.
Yeah.
Your festive Biker Scout.
You know what I'll do though is I'll put him on my Hot Toys speeder bike, so it's just
There you go, the big giant
the
one
big one.
with the IG-11.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got two more things that I just got right before we started. They've been out for delivery all day, and I was terrified that they wouldn't get here in time, and I'd have to save them for the next episode. And thankfully I don't have to. So the first one is Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It is the Credit Collection Death Trooper, and
Dark
I
Trooper?
will not dark. Is that what I said?
You said Death
Yeah,
Trooper.
you
Did I
said
say
Death
Death
It's
Trooper?
confusing.
I meant-
It's confusing.
Yeah. You know what? For the people listening, they don't know I don't even
You
have
better
any
not cut
toys.
that out. You better not cut
No,
that out.
I'm not going to. No, I'll own up to it. I said the wrong thing. Dark Trooper. And this, speaking of kind of a callback earlier, I will not be opening this because I have all of my credit collections unopened back there in the corner. It's the only thing I buy that I don't open.
So why is that?
Because I like the presentation. I think this is neat.
It wasn't accusatory. It was,
No. I'm very defensive about it. No. Here's why I'm defensive about it. I thought it was a really neat idea for the first wave. And I'm like, as a one-off wave, this is kind of cool. Like, I like it. And Hasbro really could have and should have just stopped there. But they didn't.
Yeah.
And with the second wave of them, I was like, okay, all right, we got some more. Not a big deal. And then they did a third wave. And honestly, if there's a fourth wave, I don't think I'm going to buy them. I think I'm.
so it's like those prototype figures that they keep putting out in the TVC scale.
Exactly. Where it's cool. The first one's cool, and then you're like, okay. And then there's the people that buy every combination. Like those people are crazy.
Oh, like there's like 7 or 8 Chewbaccas or something like that.
Yeah, because they
Like,
have
why?
different
What are you
colored
doing?
parts for
They have
different color
different colored
limbs.
limbs. That's the dumbest thing ever.
Like you don't need all those, man. You just need the one. You're good.
Yeah, but they're an investment for the future.
They're not. None of these are ever going to be as expensive as those old 70s and 80s figures are.
Yeah.
None of them are. No, it's just not even close. Anyway,
We say that. Have you seen some of these Black Series prices?
Yeah,
Trying to
but
hunt down these.
it's a one-off, two-off thing. I mean, look back when Power of the Force 2 came out. I had a friend that bought three of all of them. One to open and two to keep as investments. And now I can go to literally any comic book shop and buy them for the same price or cheaper than they were in 1995.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I wish that the archive line was deeper and faster than it is. Like,
Well,
I don't
wish the
understand.
archive line
I
would
don't
die,
understand.
So we're on opposite sides of the plane here.
Why do you, as someone who doesn't have those figures and doesn't want to spend $100 to get like a Dr. Aphra, which I do not have, what is your argument against the archive, particularly when the archive line is
perfect? You set me up. You gave me an
Good,
alley-oop slam dunk here.
I'm good, and I'll expect a Dr. Aphra in the mail soon, based on this argument.
Because you can get your Dr. Aphra in a different packaging in the comic line. That way,
It's a completely different look.
I know it's a little different.
Not a little different. It's significantly different.
It's like they gave it the jacket, but I want them to get rid of the archive line and then if they're gonna re-release those figures, put them in the new mainline packaging and actually update the figures. Like, why release a episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi the way it was in 2014, super outdated, the body is terrible, doesn't look anything like Ewan McGregor, when they have a face mold that looks pretty good that they did on that Jenny Tartakovsky Obi-Wan. They can take that head, put it on a new Jedi body, and just put it in the episode 3 packaging, and everybody has a fabulous episode 3 Obi-Wan, and you don't have this shitty archive Obi-Wan that came out in 2014, and everybody's happy. They should just do that with every older figure, in my opinion. And Dr. Aphra is a little different because she doesn't have a specific line that she could go into, but they threw her in the comic line, so I think that's perfect. So that's my argument.
So you're sending me an Aphra, is what you're saying, so I don't have to go $100 on eBay to go get an original
Hasbro will.
look of
Hasbro will.
Oh yeah, Hasbro's there for the collectors.
But like, so would you rather buy?
Like, you have to go. You have to go like this when you say that. Hasbro's there for the collectors.
So here's my question: would you rather buy and say they put Slave Leia in the archive line for the one from 2013?
Hut Slayer Leia.
So Hut Slayer.
And I'm saying that sincerely. I'm fine. I don't understand people who get so upset about name changes.
No.
Would you rather buy that terrible body and the terrible face sculpt, like re-release straight as it is, or would you rather them update it, new body, new mold, and then put it in the Return of the Jedi mainline? And that's just.
But Hasbro, I think, has given us plenty of indication over the years that simply is not a factor for them when it comes to upgrades. Like, for them, I see the archive line as the quickest and easiest and cheapest route for them to shove these figures out, particularly the ones when it is just a face repaint difference in putting it out, and in putting it out in a standardized packaging that only needs, some line art that, I wouldn't be surprised if some of that line art existed from the original Black Series release and is a reuse. Is that a lot of that reuse art?
Yeah, the character images. Titus, black and white.
Is that all just reuse art on the back of that? So it was a shock to see what they did with Leia as Bausch design to actually change something fundamental about that figure, or the Han Solo.
I was going to say same with the Han Solo. Yeah.
Yeah. See, for both of those figures, though, I would rather have, like, they're re-releasing the body anyway, so I would rather have that Leia in the Return of the Jedi packaging, and then that Han in the Force Awakens packaging.
But they're upcharging us. Like, if I'm someone who just wants that figure, this is back to my original argument of just wanting the figure. If I'm going to open it, I don't want a packaging upcharge.
The archive and the mainline.
But the archive now is what, at the $20 price point, or $22? It's still cheaper than.
It's $24.99.
Yeah, they're both $24.99.
Are they now comparable?
Yeah. Both of them are the same.
They're
mainline and archive are the same price. So that's why I just say put them in the
Hasbro.
Yeah, like
you hear that, Hasbro? Ken Plume says, "Screw
you,
Hasbro.
lost me. You lost me, Hasbro.
You lost a customer."
Listen, if it's a quick and easy way to get these figures back out on the market and short circuit what is killing my enthusiasm for a lot of these things by having to try and chase things down in the aftermarket. It's like, I have money, Hasbro. Just put it out. Take the money. Do it. I would much rather have a faster re-release of something I was going to buy anyway if I found it at a reasonable price than waiting to see where they might possibly be able to slot things in an already crowded schedule of mainline releases with all of the new media coming out and them having to juggle that. Like if it's simply getting a figure back out on the market, that for me is why I see the value of something like the archive line of just a simple reissue of an already existing thing.
That's a good argument.
And honestly, you touch on something that it kind of bugs me, and it sounds so antithetical to say this, but I want Lucasfilm to stop producing new Star Wars content for like 5 years. No TV shows, no cartoons. Let Hasbro catch up. We have so many figures we haven't gotten in the 6-inch line from older media.
You just have to accept we never will.
And the thing is, they can't, because like you said, it's like a treadmill. There's constantly new stuff. Here's a bunch of Andor figures. Here's a bunch of Bad Batch figures. There's probably going to be Tales of the Jedi figures. You know, like every time there's a new medium, they have to contractually make figures for that new medium, assuming Lucasfilm lets them, because like for whatever reason they didn't give them a heads up at all on Book of Boba Fett. Apparently,
are you ready to rebuy a new now in live action canon Hera and Sabine and Ezra?
What? Yeah, I guess I am. I'm going to buy the.
So you don't even have definitive versions of anything anymore. Everything is rolling.
That's the problem. And now instead of being definitive, it's like, no, this is microscopically from this one scene with these specific accessories. It's like they've gone the opposite way. But it's also
from the pre-production art of that, so it's still.
And that too, yeah. And that's only so they can get it out faster. Because if they waited, like I said this in the last episode. Like I would have gladly waited 2 years to get a Paz Vizsla if they could get us an accurate Paz Vizsla. Like that's what the TVC is getting such a good figure, because they had to wait,
and the shield and
exactly they had to wait that long.
Yeah, but imagine the poor TVC line now, who's just getting a first season Hunter from the Bad Batch as these completely new second season designs are rolling out.
But it's objectively better than the one we got in the Black Series.
But meaning neither line is catching up. Neither line is ever going to catch up with anything.
You're not wrong. It's a problem with both lines because there's like it's a conveyor belt. It's like that. It's like that Treehouse of Horrors Homer Simpson who's just getting donuts shoved into his face constantly.
But he does eat them all.
That's true.
So is that the point you were making about us as collectors?
I gotta eat them all, man. I got so many figures.
Is this our ironic punishment?
No. And that's legitimately an issue I'm having right now with the line. Is back when I was like, I'm a completionist. It was easy to be a completionist in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, when at most you're getting, even counting repaints and the exclusives and stuff, you're at most getting 25, 30 figures a year. And that was maximum. Now,
so you could pace that out to like, I'm getting 2 figures a month.
Something like that. Yeah. Now, like I've got a spreadsheet. My spreadsheet of figures that have either been released this year or announced this year. I'm at like 140 something figures.
Have you tallied up the cost of what that spreadsheet says?
Shut up, Ken. I've actually, when the year started, I had a spreadsheet going of all the figures and toys I bought for tax reasons and stuff, so I could have an itemized list of what does count, what doesn't count. I got to halfway through March and saw the total, and I got really depressed and disgusted and just
you burned the list.
I did.
Never to speak of it again.
I set my computer on fire. Anyways, I've got 2 more toys.
We're still not on fine editions. This is insane.
We're still on fine editions because I've got 2 more toys. This last one came from GameStop. I didn't think I just doxed myself by showing the camera, but who knows? Anyways, I was a little worried because this is a small box, but
they got to pay you $11.
You're about to do it again, Mike. Be careful.
I know. I'm trying not to. The figures are in here.
It's just Patreon really tight. People.
Yeah,
they can have your address.
That's true. That's true. So I got the Gaming Greats B1 Battle Droid and the KX Security Droid from Jedi Survivor.
In the packaging, they look like credit collection to me. There's something about the lighting on them that makes
They
them
do
look
look a little blue, like kind of glow, that little blue glow on them. I see what you mean.
I'm blue. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. I like them. I honestly, I genuinely like the plastic-free packaging designs. Of
Yeah, the
these.
Black
I think they
Series
look-
PFP is actually.
I
it's
think
like
they
really
look slick. I really do.
Marvel Legends needs to take note because theirs
You
is
know-
trash.
You know which one I do like? Let me make everyone on equal footing here. There we go. I just got my first plastic-free packaging G.I. Joe classified figure, and that one's kind of neat because all the accessories are in like a little foot locker with that character's name on it. So it's like a little
really?
cardboard foot locker that has so mine was Kamakura or whoever, I don't even know who that is, but like you open it up and all of his accessories are
Like a little
inside,
kind of.
like a little chest inside. So I
That's
thought that
cool.
was just kind of a neat little.
I mean, you
thing,
get
but I
the
also
G.I. Joe
hate it.
figures.
Yeah,
Is it just me, or does it seem like that team of all the teams is having the most fun?
100%. And it's not just they're having the most fun, like they're outwardly having the most fun. Like all of their HasLabs have had fun, like Cobra Commander voiceover doing, like I just
Like
It
it
just
seems
hits
like
that.
it seems like the Star Wars team just feels like embattled.
yes,
Like they don't want to. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want. It's like, leave us alone, just please. They feel traumatized.
Yeah,
Every time
and
you
who-
see
who
them
can
on a
blame
stream,
them?
they have like this 100-yard stare. They look kind of like Paz Vizsla, John Favreau.
I also feel like that's a little bit of the community too, because the Star Wars community, like they get attacked more than probably the G.I. Joe team does. Like if you see the YouTube comments, like whenever they do a live stream, it's just god awful. It's like
I saw
comments,
just
so.
a little bit of that on what was the HasCon stream, and it's just toxic awfulness in those comments.
Yeah.
I instantly just hide the chat. In fact, on the 1027, they didn't have chat going. They had the
Smart
chat
move.
turned off. I think what they did was they made their whole channel. They marked it made for kids. The whole channel. So there's no more chat. There's no more commenting. All that stuff is basically gone off of that.
Well, I mean, it didn't. Having that chat accomplished nothing.
100%. It's
Correct.
yeah. It was the people spamming the same thing over and over and over again. Like, you know what? It's one thing to be disappointed, to vent your frustration. You don't like something, sure, but just to make sure it's seen, you spam it like 30 times. Like, come on. Just
Yeah.
But they didn't. I want to know. I want them to be happy.
yeah.
I don't want them to feel. I don't want to look at them or how the Marvel team looked during this, Engine of Vengeance
Yeah,
HasLab.
that was also sad.
Like they were, being held hostage.
Yep.
Like they look like hostage videos when they were carted out to try and sell these things. And that's not fair.
no.
And also Hasbro, don't make your teams do that. If they are not, not everyone's comfortable on camera. If they're not, don't make them, not everyone, obviously folks like Steve Evans loves it. Like he's just,
He's made for it.
That's just an engaged, and that is a personality type. And there are folks that's just not how they're comfortable, and doesn't mean they're awful people. It just means they're just not comfortable on camera or wanting to be out there like that. And I think it's wrong for for Hasbro if they're actively pushing these folks out to be in what has legitimately become a firing line of awful, angry fans who, are brutal when it comes to their engagement in this community of a toy community. These are toys, collectibles, fine. But, don't have a shame about calling them toys either. If you love it, enjoy it, but don't be an asshole about it. And there are so many people in this community who are just assholes about it and will complain about the weirdest of things.
The weirdest things. Like that one guy that was complaining that Obi-Wan wasn't the center of the mural for the Obi-Wan series. Yeah. You're like, do you not understand how these murals work? Like, why is that a complaint? Like,
it's like
and how does that affect your figures?
Yeah.
How does
it doesn't. Yeah.
And it's like the people who are complaining about the ratchet joints on the Rancor. It's like, how else do you expect it to hold up a Good Morning Guard
hold the
for
weight, right.
for its lifetime that you're gonna have it?
Yeah,
It's gonna, if you don't have the ratchet in there, it's just gonna slowly over time,
Yeah, friction joints don't hold up. That's a fact.
And also, strip it. It's gonna be a stripped. It's not gonna hold any position, even if it's not holding weight after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just, but the sense of entitlement.
Yeah,
like the disappointments that come from me is I would love if they re-released a certain figure.
Sure.
And if they don't, I'm not going to burn the house down because they didn't re-release that figure or it didn't come. I also understand production issues. I understand all that. I also understand that the price issues are not the fault of the team designing these toys.
Right.
And so they should not they should not be the focus of anger about that either. And there's a whole, or how things are released or when they're released or what distribution is. That's all above their pay grades. And frankly, their job descriptions. That's not what they handle. And to put that team out there, and again, for them to face the absolute shitty fans that exist out there, to just, and the kind of attacks that are made on in people's appearances or their presentation skills, is like, who the hell are you? Why are you doing this about toys? Like, what sad little life
toys
are you engaged in that, you're also going to take to YouTube for a 15-minute rant video that is a personal attack on folks? Like, do you think Patrick is out there setting a price point?
No, he is. He's twirling his mustache and he's doing this. And then he goes to see the girl that he's got tied to the railroad tracks. Like,
where do you think they're going to come up with the price on this HasLab?
Now pay your rent.
And I think part of the problem is that we just, like, for the most part, we hear, like, whenever we hear from the marketing people like Patrick, it's just not, you don't feel like you don't feel the love. You can't see the passion whenever he's talking, but whenever you listen to somebody like Eric. But also, if you
had to walk out and face these things.
Yeah, and and I, like, Patrick is, I'm sure he's a great marketer. He got the job probably out of college or worked his way up. I'm sure he is fabulous at marketing. He's just not the person they need to be putting on camera. Yeah,
like, but marketing is not... there's marketing that's not public facing. You have presentation skills for that. Marketing is supposed to be, hey, what's our promotional plan for this? How are we going to sell this? Then as a marketing person, hey, let's hire someone to be the spokesperson that is out there selling these things. And I don't know what within the corporate environment, I'm sure at a certain point, or just, maybe they got lucky with teams having dynamic individuals who love being out in front of a camera, and they thought, well, let's put all of our teams out in front of the camera, and that's be the thing. This will be the engagement we'll have, and everyone will be personalized. Don't do that to a team. Don't do that to creative folks like the designers, unless that's, a lot of people get into design because it is a very, singular focused thing, and they don't want to be dealing with people. But that's not universal. People are different. Don't force somebody out there. That's the thing that hurts, is the most hurtful thing, is if Hasbro is forcing these folks who are not comfortable to be out there on camera personalities to sell their corporate policies ultimately on a lot of these things, with the way people are reacting to price increases and how things are being released. Has nothing to do with design teams. But they're being put on the front lines.
Yeah, people who actually make those decisions don't have to answer for it. They're making Patrick and Eric
don't even know their names,
and Emily do it. Yeah.
Like, do we know the names? We don't know the name of the executive who's setting these price points. It's not the CEO.
Nope.
It's a middle manager somewhere between the team and the CEO that's going, for this quarter, this is going to be what our price is. I don't know why they sort of sounded like one of the executives in Muppets Take Manhattan, one of the frog marketing. My name is Bill.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah. It's definitely a group of executives that set the price point they need to meet 85% profit margin or higher, most likely.
And their
that's
answer,
just how it's
ultimately,
determined, yeah.
it does involve the CEO. The CEO going, we need to increase profits across the board. Find a way.
Yeah, and you got to do it. Yeah.
But then it all trickles down to, these poor teams who, just want to make toys, and probably at one point were super enthusiastic about it until they had to step out in front of, a caustic, horrible fan base who were instantly going to attack every little thing. Well, why are the packaging like this?
Hire me. I'll do it. I've got thick skin. I've been called worse on my own YouTube channel.
We'll be in your pocket.
That's right. I'll be up on that stage. I'll take the heat.
They'll break you down. They'll break you down too.
No. So at my last job, every bad decision I voluntarily was the scapegoat for it. Like, oh, you don't like the price of this? Mike is the one that made that price. So, yep, I did, and I will do it again. I did not care.
Yeah, at one job I had in the past, I had to fire people. So that was people, and sometimes it wasn't my decision, but sometimes I just had to be the guy that they yelled at and threw their badges at as they left the warehouse.
It didn't have to dress up as the Grim Reaper, though. That was a choice that you made.
That was, you know what? And he
I'm sorry. And I would do it again. Look,
call him the Louisville Grim Reaper. That's right.
Oh, Zach's got the scythe again. What's happening?
No. But no, they seriously though, Hasbro needs to hire they just need to go on YouTube, find someone with a good personality. But you know what? Even then, that doesn't translate one for one. Because at the Hasbro PulseCon, you had Thu at the beginning, who I love his videos. I would never say he's not good on camera on his videos, but he definitely was nervous, visibly nervous.
Because you can be great in your own videos.
Yes,
but now you're given a script. You're given really hard guide rails about what you can and can't say.
Yep.
You can't be the authentic personality within those strictures. And that HasCon was so overproduced.
Oh, it was awful.
To the opposite effect. You can't manufacture fun. No. And I felt bad for the host that they hired, for the out of left field musical talent on a stream.
I was about to say they do not need to do any more of those freestyles. That was insane.
And I don't blame those performers, because a gig is
They're
a
very
gig.
Talented. It just
exactly. A gig is a gig.
And a gig is a gig. Oh, it's a corporate, or I got a corporate event. But it's just that the HasCon thing ultimately, I hope, goes away. Because it didn't really accomplish anything. If you did not see that HasCon, you knew all the announcements instantaneously through websites, and everyone talked about them. So the information part all got out there. It wasn't a fun experience to watch, because I don't like to see, hostage teams being paraded in front of the cameras to try and justify their existence and play hype men and women, across the board, to all the things that, are choices above and beyond what they're making. Because they're being forced to go out there and go, well, and this is this, and the price point is going to be this. And then suddenly you get all the angry comments off to the side and all the hateful stuff. It's not. It's,
and it's exclusive to this place. And that, that sets people off right there, which, again, understandably, but Patrick wasn't the one that's like, okay,
he's not choosing retail partners.
No.
Or Hasbro's inability to actually ask those retail partners to make changes based on feedback.
Yeah. Well, so, and that actually kind of brings into the whole, we're seeing Walmart exclusives pop up in other places. I from what I understand, the Target, Walmart, they're in the same place that we are and I've said this on the podcast before, we're not really Hasbro's customers. Target is Hasbro's customer. Walmart is Hasbro's customer. They sell their figures to those people who then sell them to us. Even the Hasbro Pulse, like that's just a store that's not really Hasbro. It's just Hasbro's like front-facing store, but it's still a separate
somehow.
Exactly. But so those places
issue.
are Hasbro's customers. So like when Target puts in a pre-order, Hasbro's saying, okay, or Walmart, they'll say, okay, this is your exclusive. It's going to be in during this time. So, they set up their marketing. They've got their placement for where the figures are going to go during the time frame that they're in. And I've worked retail before, so I definitely know that this is how that works. I've done, aisle sets and restocks and things like that. So I know how much vendors actually even pay to get their product on a specific shelf size during a specific time frame. So then because of delays or whatever, instead of getting, for instance, the Maldo Crease or Galen Ursos way back, last year when they were supposed to, last September, they're getting them this year way after they were supposed to, way after whatever shelf space they were supposed to have to go on. And the system, all the system sees is, oh, this is really old product. Like this is old product. So you've got places like Walmart that are just starting to refuse product. Like, yeah, we ordered these, but like
we ordered them for a year ago.
Exactly. We ordered them for a year ago. We don't want these anymore. They're not going to sell. Like, of course the Were-Wookiee, like why would Walmart want to sell a Halloween themed figure after Halloween? Like that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, Target sold that Halloween clone trooper on November 3rd, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And it's a gamble, right? Because it could still be popular enough and just after Halloween enough where people still want it. But then, are we going to see them shelf warming? Are we going to see the Wookiee shelf warming? You don't know.
I can guarantee you, like, there's probably like higher ups at Target that aren't happy that Hasbro got them to them after the Halloween season.
Yeah. Well, technically I got mine before Halloween, a day before Halloween.
I will share this conversation, which I put a little bit of it on a Twitter post. So it's Halloween, and I thought, I'll get the figure because also I created that David S. Pumpkins version, and I thought now I kind of want to realize it real.
Right.
And so I was driving by Target. I thought, I'll park for a second. And it wasn't showing up on the app. It was showing it's not available till the 3rd. But I had heard folks like you, Mike, that said that, they found them in Targets. Mm-hmm. So I called the Target. I'm sitting in the parking lot of the Target. And I said, do you have this item in stock? Because maybe they have it on the shelves. It just wasn't reflected in the system because the date was still ahead.
Right.
Do you have this physical product in the store? And I gave him the code for it. And we have 5 in the system. Oh, great. And we, it looks like we sold a few back on October 26th. We had like a shipment. Okay, so can I come in and pick it up? No, it says we can't put them out until the 3rd. I said, but it's a Halloween figure. I'm calling you on Halloween night. I'm in the parking lot. You said you have them in the back. And you sold some in the store on October 26th. Can I not? Hold on, sir. Let me
where's
ask.
The disconnect here?
Yeah.
And then the person came back on and went, I just talked to the manager and we can't do it. They'll be out on the 3rd. And so I tried to go and get them on the 3rd, and they're
sold out. They're sold out. Yep.
So that's the tale of my Target Halloween Clone Trooper. But to be sitting there knowing that, and they had sold them. If they hadn't have sold them, if they were like, I'm sorry, the street dates, we're holding them all. We can't put them out, sir, until the system dictates.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they showed a record that they went out on the floor and sold.
Yeah.
And then
it wasn't register locked. When I bought mine, it didn't pop up and say, oh, you can't buy this. I've had figures in my hand at Target and tried to buy them, and it said, no, you cannot buy this right now. They're street dated, and it was street dated in the system. But the Clone Trooper, not a problem. I bought
so
2.
To know if one of those 5 happened to have been on the shelf at the time,
you could have walked in and just gotten it.
I could have gone.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Or if you just go in and ask some random, like nobody, like stocking the shelf, there's just some random, like they don't care. Most people that are just there for an hourly paycheck, they do not care. And that's the problem is you have those people where like you have that one person that's hardline, no, this says street date and I care. But then you find that one person that doesn't care and all the rules go out the window. Cause
I should have waited and called back the morning of November 1st and asked the other manager what they would have said.
What they should have done is like Halloween candy gets discounted on the 1st. Like Halloween
Halloween
decorations discounted. Like why not the Halloween figure? Why not discount that?
Oh, I'm sure we'll see some discounted on that GameStop figure.
And if we do, I'll buy another one.
You're gonna have a whole army of Chewbumbles?
Yeah, why not?
That'd be awesome. Not? Last year, the last Christmas wave, those are hard to find. The initial one.
The ones that people were making fun of and were saying were dumb. And now
a lot of them are like
2 years later,
on eBay.
2 years later, they're going for a lot of money because now that new ones are coming out, people go like, well, maybe I do want the original ones.
But come on, the 3 3/4 scale was the high water mark of holiday figures.
No, absolutely. And those were unique sculpts too. Like these are just repaints. But those 3 3/4 ones,
this is a lazy one. The one I'm showing you right now is a 2005 holiday
But you had
edition.
the Yoda in the
but
in
the ones
Santa
that were the
outfit.
actual recreations of the Ralph McQuarrie Lucasfilm holiday cards from the early 80s. So it was the cover of the Christmas in the Stars R2 and C3PO with the fireplace.
Love that album.
And
Every
to have
Christmas,
that as a
that's my
figure
first
was
Christmas
great.
album. Yeah. Did you know that
and the Jawa
R2D2 We Wish You a Merry Christmas was John Bon Jovi's first professionally recorded song?
Oh wow.
It's a fun fact.
Do you need to explain to Zach who John Bon Jovi is? I'm not sure about the age difference.
Wow.
Well, so in the 80s, Zach,
7.
John Bon Jovi was he was just living on a prayer, man.
Yeah.
He's halfway there, though.
It is. You know what? That song is it's always a rookie mistake at karaoke. No. Every time karaoke, because you don't expect that key change.
You start too high.
Because it's already high. And then that keychain kicks in, and I've never heard someone nail the song after that key change. Even if they were rocking it before the key change, it always goes slightly out of the register.
No, see the thing is you gotta go the opposite. You gotta go super low.
Low and then bring it up. Yeah.
No. Start high, but when it's supposed to go higher, you go lower.
And then you go low. I see. Yeah.
There you go.
Try that next time and see what the reaction is when you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm halfway there.
I'm halfway there. Oh.
Go full Brian Blessed is really the key to any of that. We're living on a prayer.
Misa living on a prayer.
Pay me now.
Okay, so questions for you.
Oh, you done showing figures? Is that done? Did we move?
I was done a long time ago, man. No, I've been done.
I thought that was like the first 3 hours of the show.
No.
Yeah, we're just chatting
we've just
away
been having
now.
a conversation at this point.
I hope everyone forgives my rant about.
I love your rant. Your rant is the exact reason we had you on because without your rant, we had zero content for this episode. So you have fulfilled your guest quota. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Who's been, and this is contentious as someone who was on it. Who's been your favorite guest on Force 5?
Oh, geez.
You don't have to say me, but I mean, come on.
Oh, no, it wasn't even contention. I don't know. That's the good thing about them being conversations.
Yeah.
Is that they're all my favorite for different reasons. Because it all is wholly dependent on the conversation that was had at the time. And ultimately, it's just a way to identify things that I should buy from other people's collections.
You tagging
Smart.
Dan with something he got you to buy there.
Yeah, with the Galaxy of Adventures Boba Fett.
That was it.
And then he came back and said, "Well, you didn't buy the right one." I was like, I still have the special one. You don't.
Yeah, he does like to rub that in people's faces.
Like, I can't match your Boba obsession.
Yeah. But was there one that kind of like was most surprising to you with what they chose, or like?
You know what? The Kate Sabaker one was fascinating. Mm-hmm. I think was the last episode that went up because Kate is a model maker and has worked on movies like the Christopher Nolan stuff like Inception and the new Blade Runner, and just beautiful models. Built like the tumbler for Batman. What was the last one? Rises, right? The last Nolan Batman. Yeah. Just amazing model maker. But she's also worked with Phil Tippett on his Mad God movie, and also did the worked on the models of the holochess pieces, which were brought out and refurbished, and the complete set of which appears in Solo, and that was all stop motion work that was done, with those original designs, but her showing the original Djarik pieces.
Cool. That was actually my answer. So I was hoping you were going to say that.
Unique conversations like that is seeing that and having a discussion that came, that wasn't because I didn't know what her list was.
Nope.
Going into it, but I knew it would be an interesting conversation because I knew she was, a creative person and a maker, and it was going to go to an interesting place just by dint of the work she's done. So that was a nice surprise to reach that point, and then go into a deeper conversation about the differences on those things and what those things, look like in person, which a lot of folks have not seen.
Yeah, that actually kind of brings up an interesting kind of, so for instance, when the Rancor was a thing, the Star Wars team that were making it, they got access to the original model. And one of the things they saw was that the eyes of the Rancor were like silver ball bearings. On camera, they look different, but in person, they look like silver ball bearings. And I think that was actually one of the problems I had with the Rancor is while that's true. That's what the original model had. You don't want to make what the original model had. You want to make how it showed up on camera. And the reason they used those silver ball bearings
or
is how
emotionally
the light
how you remember it.
Exactly.
Because everyone's going to say, that's not the Rancor. It's like, no, that is the Rancor.
It's the most Rancor the Rancor can get, really. Detrimentally, it was the Rancor.
What matches your emotional memory of something?
Yeah.
And how that factors
was going to be better than the original model. It just was.
They said that. But the silver eyes always kind of bugged me because, like, while the model might have had them, when you watch it on screen, it doesn't look like that.
But also that Rancor is going to have silver paint.
Right.
To represent that. They're not using actual steel ball bearings.
Right.
Which would catch the light because it is an actual metal material.
Right.
So, the fact that if you're going to say it's accurate to a certain thing, you have to go full accuracy to materials because that does make a difference.
Right.
So if you had seen those eyes on that Rancor and they were legitimate metal ball bearings in there, you might have had a different reaction because the light does catch that differently. It's not just shining off of silver paint. We were, I don't know, one of your reviews, I think you were noticing, I noticed because he's been sitting on my desk for a while, how they seem to have switched up silver paints.
Yes.
And it's really noticeable. I noticed on the Cad Bane blasters.
Yep.
And because he's sitting right next to my Hondo and the original Beskar Mando, which has that duller silver, which we all are disappointed with.
Yep.
But I noticed they have switched to that newer silver on
a higher luster kind of
on the vintage collection R2 units now, because they're not, they're actively trying to avoid doing the metal plating for chrome, obvious and environmental reasons.
Yeah.
And the fact that it doesn't hold up anyway.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And I get why people want it because of they remember
it's super
it looking
shiny.
really good. It looks
Yeah.
really good, but in 10 years, it will not look very good.
Yeah, when it starts,
Yeah.
when you start turning him a couple of times and it starts flaking off the edges because, it holds up to nothing and is barely clinging onto that plastic.
Right.
But that silver is a revelation, compared to, and it looks great. If you get a chance, look up the new TVC. In fact, do I have? No, he's all the way over there. They did the Anton Merrick droid because they released his X-Wing, but didn't release his droid. So everyone was,
it's kind of a weird choice, really. Yeah.
is mad how the collectors are. But which actually is a lot closer to the finish on an R2 droid, which isn't super shiny chrome.
No, even on the
It's a
camera
polished.
right here,
it's a polished metal. It's not. It's not a chrome like you would find. If you chromed something.
Yeah.
So the fact that does have a luster of, I would love to see that on like a Black Series, properly scaled, because I know that's one of your bugaboos as well, Mike.
Well, we're getting one.
We're getting one. They announced it. They announced the new sculpted
I hope
R2
it has
in scale.
the new paint, because it does. Like that looks like an R2.
No, it does. It looks great. And I'm surprised Zach let you put a TVC figure on screen.
I snuck it in. I snuck it in by saying it was about Black Series.
Yeah, it's a pass. He deserves a pass for
I
it.
did put 2 3 3/4 scale figures on screen already.
True.
Yeah, the holiday.
But that's because Zach and I are fun and friends, and he knows that I respect him, and I would never try and do anything.
Never.
Unlike you.
Yeah, Mike
But I don't have any respect for anybody, so I don't.
Mike,
I don't care.
Purchased TVC figure
It's true.
and is a Black Series podcast host.
I did. I committed the unforgivable sin of having fun.
Yeah, he actually only gets 40% of our Patreon money now for that sin.
Well, fair.
That's fair. No, it was punishment fit the crime. Really, is what happened.
I mean, I could start showing off other 3. Look, I did Doctor Doom, 3 3/4 scale.
No,
Actually,
we're going down a bad rabbit hole now.
This has shinier silver.
It does
even.
have shiny paint on it.
Yeah, it's pretty reflective.
And this is 10 years old now. I think
have
the Marvel.
I don't know how. This is like a 1.5 inch Abraham Lincoln.
Here,
For
see,
some reason, it's on my desk.
Mike cut his feed. Cut his feed.
All right, you're out.
This was the trap we laid for you, Zach. So now you can never claim.
Now you just took over my spot on the podcast.
That's right. Now it's the Mike and Ken Black Series podcast.
What about this? Like the
and other
Pez,
things.
Mando Pez dispenser. What scale are we calling this?
I mean, that's not that's not even a 1 POA.
You know what?
figure.
I bet that Pez head is probably close to a 1/6 scale size.
I think it's a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah,
You
I think
think?
it's bigger. Here, we'll compare it to a Funko Pop.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to compare scale for
Yeah,
one.
when you're looking for a 6-inch figure, you take a Pez dispenser and you put it next to a Funko Pop, which already has a big head, so it makes
Well,
sense.
I
I
don't
would
think I had
bet
it
you.
close.
I'll bet you $1.
It's
No,
pretty
it's
big.
bigger.
The Pez
It's
is a
pretty
lot
big.
bigger.
No, I said a 1/6 scale. Like
Oh, you did say
like a Hot
1/6
Toys.
scale. He said 1/6 scale.
I
No,
think
that's
it's close to
probably
a
right.
Hot
Say
Toys
1/6.
scale.
No, that's probably right.
I think it's still pretty small, actually, because I got the Darth Vader over there, and the Darth Vader is.
Yeah, but Darth Vader has
humongous.
a massive head. His,
Well, I don't
his
think they're
helmet.
different. I don't
He's
think
very
it's this.
sensitive about his head size. Thank you, Ken.
I'm gonna go grab it.
I was celebrating it. I wasn't criticizing it. Okay,
Quick,
no,
while he's
I got
gone.
Zach off camera. Say the
Yeah.
plan worked.
Yeah, you did it.
Get Dan in. Can
All
Dan?
right, I got some data for
I'll
you here.
I'll bring him in.
Hot. All right, the Mandalorian Pez dispenser is closer to the size of the Marvel Legends Thanos than it is the Hot Toys Vader.
So it's halfway between the two.
So what you're saying is, whoa, it's halfway there.
I'm just done talking about this at this point. You just ended it with that.
All right.
You know what? Worth it. It was worth the journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how
Yeah,
comedy
it's
works,
gorgeous.
folks.
Yeah, you just keep going, see what comes out. I've like I said before, I really enjoy the watching Force Fives. I've really like it's always kind of fun to see who's going to be on next. And there have been some surprises. I was like Bobby Moynihan, like that's not. I mean, I know he was in that SNL skit about making fun.
But
of
now
Star Wars
you know
collectors.
why that SNL skit exists,
Right? And I was like, it's one of those things. Like I assume he's into Star Wars, but I don't assume any kind of somewhat famous person actually has the time to collect any toys or whatever. So it's always fun when you find out about that, and it makes sense. Like it wasn't a surprise to find that out, but it was neat to see it, to see Louis Duck. He had
and talk with the same words that you use,
right? I say those things too. I did. I don't know if I don't think he's listening, but I know Donald Faison collects Black Series figures. So I sent him a message on Instagram. I'm like, if you wanted to come on talk Star Wars, like I know you like Star Wars. I know you collect Black Series. Like, come on in.
Yeah,
but
I messaged. I know Daniel Logan is a huge Star Wars collector, and I've messaged him on Instagram trying to get him to join, but I don't think it's going to happen.
But instead, we got Ken Plume.
Because he did reply. He did reply. So he knows of the podcast officially. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him on, though.
Well, what do you need Donald and Daniel for when you have me?
And when you have Ken, we got Ken. No, honestly, if you are listening to this and you want to hear some top grade,
are you talking to me or other people?
No, I'm talking to the people listening. I wasn't even looking at you, Ken. I was looking past you at the wall. My eye line was just
like Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, I was Paz Vizsla-ing it. So it's a verb now. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you want to hear some high quality, high grade conversations about people's favorite Star Wars figures, just go on YouTube, type in Ken Plume Force 5. You'll get literally a list of all of them. I am on there if that is at all enticing to you. It shouldn't be, but it could be. Like I said, Dan Larson is on there. Bobby Moynihan.
Steve Evans.
Paul Lee, the guy, the Appa from Kim's Convenience and was on The Mandalorian.
Carson Teva.
Paul Sung-Young Lee. He was the first one I saw. I was like, I watch his live streams. He does fun live streams on his own.
He does
channel.
his fun boxing Sundays.
Yeah. Bitter Asian dude.
Where you can hear him cursing at a Hot Toys box.
Yeah, it's honestly really fun. But there've been some fantastic and eye-opening and really just kind of fun conversations that Ken here does on his YouTube channel. And whenever someone told me like, "Oh, you deserve more subscribers," I'm like, that's a weird thing to say because like there's going to be a point where people are watching this and they'll think he doesn't deserve any more subscribers. This is the appropriate amount of subscribers for him.
He deserves less.
How did he get so
Some
many?
of you need to peel away.
Yeah, but I would say this show that Ken does, the Force 5, is criminally underviewed, and it's like the kind of thing people would pay money to go see or go to like a convention. Like this is the kind of thing you'd see at Comic-Con where you'd have an auditorium of thousands of people lined up for hours to watch this kind of content. And for a while I had the highest viewed one at like 300 something views. So if you're listening to this,
it still sounds like you have beef with Dan. It really feels like you.
What's Dan's at?
You feel some kind of crown was taken from you.
I was proud of that view count. Damn it.
What's Dan's at?
I don't know. He's got like 20 or 30 more than me. But what? That's saying a lot.
I can quantify this right now.
That's saying a lot, considering Dan's internet presence is a lot higher than mine.
Yeah, which frankly means a lot of Dan's fans did not show up for Dan.
100%, where a higher percentage of mine did, and we have the highest two viewed versions. So like we're both higher than like Bobby Moynihan, which is saying
kind of crazy, kind of crazy.
And that's why Bobby's not coming on your show. This is
That's
why
right. We're never going to invite Bobby Moynihan on because his fans don't show up for him.
No,
Just
they
kidding.
do
Bobby,
not.
if you're somehow listening to this, you're more than welcome to
Oh,
come
I'm sending
on our
him this
show.
link. Don't worry.
Oh, please. Okay.
He will hear this.
Okay.
I will.
I'm so glad.
I will pull clips for him.
Oh, I'm a big fan, by the way. I watch Mr. Mayor. I really like DuckTales.
So
a
right
lot.
now there are
Yeah.
19 views separating you and Dan.
So if you're listening
So
to this,
if you can generate 20
go.
of your listeners,
yeah. If you're listening to this and you haven't gone to watch this, click mine first. If you want to after that, you can click Dan's. I will never say never listen to Dan.
but then you
What
have
I
to come
did-
back and rewatch
but then
Mike's
have
because
to
you would have
rewatch
just balanced
mine.
the
Yeah.
scales.
We need a 2-for-1 ratio at least. And I would never say don't listen to anything Dan does, but definitely don't listen to anything Dan does.
Now here really is the way to determine if this is a losing battle for you.
That's true. Okay. All right.
Zach, what did you enjoy about Dan's episode, considering you didn't watch Mike's?
Did
Well,
you
I
watch
watched
Dan's?
Mike's. I didn't watch
okay.
Dan's.
See, this was a litmus test
Don't
for a
watch
relationship.
Dan's.
This
Don't
is why you
watch
two are
Dan's.
doing a show together.
Yeah. Don't watch
I
Dan's.
I just made your friendship stronger.
Yeah. I remember watching because I think that was whenever mine and Mike's friendship was still growing. You know, I would say.
Yeah, we didn't
'cause
really know each other. It was really the first couple episodes were really weird because we had never really talked before.
Yeah, we exchanged a couple Instagram DMs, and then we're like, "Oh, we're doing a podcast." And then like we got to know each other on the podcast. Like
That's the way to do it.
You're listening to our friendship blossom as we
we're
speak.
still getting to know each other. We text and the group text and all that, so that's fun.
Well, this
So-
is the show where they became enemies. You can listen to the evolution of it.
yeah. So
We have a full arc.
yeah, so I genuinely watched that episode just to learn more about him. Literally, just to like
shucks.
just to benefit like our podcast, you know, to help like the chemistry grow. So yeah. So you're welcome, Mike. I want to thank you.
You know what? And you're welcome, show.
Thank you.
And listeners,
Yeah.
for what
Yeah,
my
see-
show did for your experience on this
That's
show.
right.
It's an
Ken
investment.
Plume's show helped our show.
Yeah, it seems like
That's
my
it.
show is the only reason this show continues to exist. Is it could have been.
Yeah,
That was
pretty
it.
much.
Could have gone the other way.
If we were before it's 5, this would have ended about.
It could have
10
been a
episodes
message
ago.
back from Zach going, Mike,
That's right.
I don't think this is going to work.
It's
I've
not going to
learned
work out.
too much about you. I saw what you picked.
Yeah, I chose wisely, I guess is what's happening there.
Yeah. You picked the
So-
cup of a carpenter.
So we do have some questions for you. We have a series of questions we ask the guests that come on
Every
the show.
guest. So don't
Yeah.
feel
Sure.
special.
Dan has
So,
answered these?
Yes, he has. And we'll
Truthfully?
grade you accordingly. Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, I don't think we asked Dan these
I
because
don't-
when Dan
no.
was on, it was before we developed these questions.
Yeah.
Dan was on because we wanted to fake a rivalry between him and us for the Rancor HasLab versus the Sky Striker.
Yeah.
And then we didn't have to fake anything.
mean-
it got so negative. We didn't want to contribute to the negativity, so we
Yeah,
dropped
Dan
that
won.
complaint.
His got back.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Black Series figure?
You know, if it's my favorite, I'm going to assume it's probably one that's on the desk. Because I generally tend to keep the ones that are my favorite. So let me see which ones are on
Within
the
hands
desk in
reach.
front of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think
That's a tough choice.
it is a tough choice. Because
This is what he puts everyone through every episode.
Yeah,
It
you're getting
is.
your own medicine.
Yeah, but
here.
I'm not that stressed right now. I could stretch this for hours.
I'm hungry. Let's not.
You know what? I think there's the one that probably impressed me the most, because again, I'm a fan of fidelity. And I think the one that I pulled out of the package and went, oh, this is impressive what you can do with an action figure today. Maybe an odd choice, but I'm going to say General Veers.
That is a good choice.
Because I think it
and
is
probably a last.
an amazing representation of the actor Julian Glover.
Absolutely.
It is talking about accessories, the fact that it comes with the ability to make 2 different versions of him straight out of the package, deep into the line. So they could have done it at any point in the line. They could have added those accessories in.
And they could have painted that white and added it with Thrawn because he wore that exact same outfit in Rebels.
And
but they didn't.
So I think the Veers is the one that impresses me the most.
That's good. How do you display him?
He's right behind me. He's right there. He's
which version?
He's in his AT-AT.
There we go.
Command
That's
gear.
The proper answer,
his field gear.
Why would
but
you?
He's holding his hat.
Okay, so you've got everything on display. Yeah.
So
that's good.
So if I'm able to display everything and not file away accessories, I prefer to do that.
So let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. What's your least favorite Black Series figure?
Whatever is sitting in the selfie series case that Mike hasn't opened yet.
Smart.
I have opened it.
Excellent choice.
You haven't opened it on camera. I don't know what you're waiting for. Halloween's passed.
I'm waiting for my actual review of it to do an unveiling.
Are you letting it sit in your soul for a bit before
I just haven't had time to record a review. I've been busy with work, and tomorrow is my wedding anniversary, and
I think that's the time to open it. I mean, that's
next week.
Was it a gift?
I'm going to be in Canada for a whole week. No, it's just me buying. In fact, my wife was mad that I bought it because I said I wasn't going to buy it because of how stupid it was. And
but it was for her. That's what I meant.
No, that's what it was. It was.
You can put it like on her work desk. Or something,
hey, I got you a toy of me.
What year is the action figure anniversary?
Yeah, right. Is there a plastic year? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
you gotta let it grow on you before you do the review. You gotta let it grow on you. See if you actually like it more.
I mean, somebody right now has planned, I'm sure there's a wedding that's going to take place where the cake toppers are 2 selfie series figures.
I hope not. They don't look good at all. They better pay for a legit custom one if they're going to do that.
There are select few people that have a generic enough face to where it does work. Nate is one of those people.
Yes. Yeah. Nate's actually looks solid. If they could sculpt a beard on him.
Because he looks like an NPC.
It'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. The
Has
beard
Dan,
just looks
did Dan
wonky,
get
though.
one?
It's just the orange, like the
Dan
red
did
paint.
not get one, but Dan already has one because Hasbro made the Mr. Fantastic that looks exactly like him.
Oh, either with the bearded Mr. Fantastic?
The bearded one. Yeah.
And I've got the Jedi Survivor Cal Kestis on the way.
That's
so
true. The Jedi Survival Cal Kestis looks exactly like Zach. So
once I'm shaved a little bit, got a little bit of
what I want to do is actually I want to
pick the figure that looks closest to you, Mike. What existing figure looks closest to you right now?
You have a good one already with that wrestler.
Yeah, someone made me a custom one using a wrestler head. What I want to do is heat up the body to a Paz Vizsla and pop the head off and put my selfie series head on that and make that a me. But I want to see if I can get someone to sculpt a beard on it because the beard options are just they're awful.
Well, it's strictly painting. There's no texture, right?
Yeah, there's
exactly.
Sculpt, yeah. And glasses are big for us, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
There's no option there.
No.
Yeah, that I think is the thing that makes it least likely to be successful. Is there enough folks that their key defining feature, like a lot of people, if you see them without their glasses, it takes you a half second.
They look weird
to recognize them. So to not have that be an option on the thing really limits people's.
I would have paid an extra chunk of money for glasses.
I was about to
honestly.
say, charge an extra $5 or $6.
Give me a deluxe option for a beard and glasses. I would have done it.
Yeah, you're paying $60 for it anyways. Well, $80, I guess, if you don't have the premium, and then
or goggles. Just give us like a set of goggles.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars, so there's not really a lot of outside of the one doctor that's in The Mandalorian. We haven't really seen eyeglasses in Star Wars.
That's true. That's true.
So next question.
Did I answer this one? Yeah, I guess I did. Yeah, the selfie, the Mike selfie series.
The Mike selfie series.
If you have a different answer, you can if you have a figure that they release that you actually hate or dislike.
The thing because I'm not a completionist, I don't really get the ones that are awful that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So
is there one that you opened and were like, this isn't what I was hoping it'd be.
There's the archive series Hoth Luke that has like a weird disfigured eye placement on it that was a disappointment. That'll teach me to get discount at GameStop on something that has been out for over a year, and like, why no one's picked this up? It's only $4 on clearance. I'll go, oh gosh, oh geez.
That's why. There's a reason.
There's a reason.
But it seems like that was a bigger issue with that release, according to folks, that there were a lot of issues with that face painting Hoth Luke.
Yeah, it's not good.
QC issues.
What is the top figure that you want to be made in the Black Series?
And I can't pick the Dr. Afra that you're going to send me?
No, you cannot.
No,
a character that hasn't been made.
Something that hasn't been made.
That hasn't been made. I mean, they've gone a pretty deep bench.
I might be able to give you some hints, like some common answers, like Super Battle Droid, Max Rebo.
I mean, I keep holding out hope for a Max Rebo. You kind of want the whole band if you get a Max Rebo.
Yeah, you can't just have a Max Rebo.
I mean, I'll take it. If they just want to do a Max Rebo and say it's the Book of Boba Fett Max Rebo, fine, if that's what it takes to get a Max Rebo. But the Black Series hasn't done aliens. I mean, it has
as many as they could have.
Of the percentage of figures that are out there compared to all the other Star Wars lines, there is a distinct lack of aliens in the Black Series. And I get it because it's hard to do with reuse. You know, particularly with odd body shapes. But, you know, that we don't have like a Mama Nadon, a Hammerhead. You know, you don't get the weird, unique alien shapes. Because obviously, for whatever way they're budgeting out the Black Series, like, well, we can only use it once. We can't do it, which really limits the line. I think that probably, compared to TVC, is the biggest thing that hobbles the Black Series as like a deep bench line for people who love Star Wars and love the weirdness of Star Wars, is you simply don't. And and people make the arguments about vehicles are too big, or, you know, creatures are too big for the scale, so we can't really get creatures in that, which all these arguments are why there's a 3 3/4 action figure scale that Kenner made, was because if you want world building, you can't really do it in larger scales without it being outrageously priced.
Is definitely much more of a character focused line, so then they focus on more main characters usually. And
it also is human focused. Human focused and troopers, it's a super reuse line. Like, what's weird is, for something that is larger and ostensibly high end, it's in many ways a budget line. It's a budget line because it depends a lot on reuse. You know, and how many different ways a set of legs can be used, or a set of arms, or a torso. Even more so, I would say, than a lot of the past lines. Like TVC in the original scale, you know, or just that 3 3/4 scale, could take a lot of risks when it came to one-off characters.
And mainline these days, though, we do get a lot of new, and I think they use the re-releases like Credit Collection and Carbonize to fund those mainline, like, one-off, like the Clone Wars Darth Maul we're getting, and Ayla Secura.
Ayla Secura's got reused legs, though. She got reused legs.
And that torso is going to be reused somehow, somewhere.
I enjoy going through when I know a figure has reuse and finding where those parts came from. Like Bib Fortuna's legs came from Dryden Voss. Dr. Evazan has Jedi Luke's arms, you know, things like that.
Or the Ponda Baba, which is so weird and disappointing. Like, it's no surprise that thing is
just the Jedi Luke, or the Yavin Luke.
The Yavin Luke,
And also, you know, the fact that they haven't, like, it's clearly also a line that has changed internal scales over the years, much like the Marvel Legends. Like, Marvel Legends has eventually gotten around to fixing their base body sizes over the years, because the scale has changed. But you stand that George Lucas Stormtrooper next to that Dave Filoni X-Wing, or that Antok Merrick. I was so excited to get that Antok Merrick until I actually got him and tried to set him next to other figures. And it's like, how is he a foot shorter than the Mando figure?
Well, to be fair, Mark Hamill was a short dude.
Right. And if that's the base body you're going to use again and again, that's where it becomes, then maybe have like a standard pilot body that isn't.
Exactly. That's what they need to do, is they need to make a pilot from the ground up that's not Luke Skywalker, that they can use for more generic stuff. Yeah. Or give us a Porkins, you cowards.
Yeah.
Porkins.
Yeah, so we can all get a selfie series.
Right?
Give us a pork pilot. Give us. Where's that hashtag? Can we get that? Can we
pork
start
pilot.
that?
That's awesome.
I did. I remember working, one of my first jobs out of high school was working at KB Toys right around 2000-ish or so. So Power of the Jedi was out. And I opened a case up and I pulled out the Porkins figure and I was like, all right, I need to buy this. Like,
it's such a great, it's
so nice. Figure. He doesn't even come with anything but his helmet.
Do you think if I post like just a picture of Porkins with no explanation, how many people in the comments do you think would think that a Porkins is coming out?
Oh, have Yak Face do it, see what happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's pipelined. Like a pipeline is a promise.
It is. A pipeline is a promise.
It's not.
Nothing that's been pipelined hasn't come out yet.
That's been officially
I like. Hold on. I like the look to the side that you just did, Mike, as you said that.
I thought about it, but no, I stand by it.
Give us a.
There's been some Yak Face rumors that he comes back on. But
yes.
The official Hasbro pipelines, they've all. Those are all pretty deep into development.
But that's the thing. The other thing we find again and again about Black Series is you're not going to get the out of the way characters.
Yep.
The truly weird one-off side of the Star Wars universe. Yeah. Oh, can you imagine how much plastic would be in that Ifant Mon in Black Series? That'd be like a brick.
He'd be a deluxe figure, 100%.
That's a doorstop. Yeah. That is a doorstop.
It'd be like the Moloch figure from
I was going to say,
Solo.
we did get Moloch, though, from Solo.
Yeah. So,
but it's rare. It's rare.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that also things like that come and go or is like super exclusive, like it's in a convention set, we might as well say no one's going to get it.
No, yeah.
Like it doesn't exist. Like a convention exclusive just doesn't exist.
I would have loved an Unkar Plutt, the guy from Force Awakens. That would have been really cool.
Or a Dexter Jetster. Can you imagine how wonderful the anniversary awesome. Dexter Jetster would have been?
They could retool a Dexter Jetster into that one guy from the Clone Wars that I can't remember his name right now.
He's a little
the evil Jedi.
Thicker though. He's a little.
I guess
Dexter Jetster.
Well, Dexter is like he's relaxed. He hasn't been training.
You're right.
He hasn't been training.
Right.
He's the relaxed fit version.
But honestly, if they're gonna put Antok Merrick on X-wing Luke, or the pilot Luke,
they'll just stick a Jedi robe, the cloth goods over Dexter Jetster.
They're gonna put. They're gonna do a Jero to Paul from Jedi Fallen Order, and he's just gonna be freaking the guy from Rebels.
Yeah,
just on a Jedi body
from Jedi Fallen Order. Can you imagine? Was the Ninth Sister? How incredible that figure would have been in the Black Series.
Yeah.
A friend of mine voiced. Shout out to Misty Lee for voicing the Ninth Sister. Incredible and also if you ever played Battlefront 2, she's Leia.
Oh, that's great
in that. That's so awesome. Whenever she's shouting orders to you on Naboo because you can't get your shit together.
So all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, I've heard my friend yell at me so many times in that game. It's very like, get on point. It's like, I'm trying.
Do you still play it? Do you still play it?
Nobody's playing it. So
I'll play it with you.
I'll play. I'm down for playing. Mike, you playing?
I own it. I have not once played it on my PlayStation, but I own it.
I've tried to convince Mike so long.
I mean, Fortnite is also basically a Star Wars game now too, so we could also just play Fortnite.
I've tried to get Mike to hop. Oh shit! My Hot Toys Darth Vader's dying.
Don't do that.
I've tried to get him to hop on with me, but he just.
What's your problem, Mike? Here, let's solve this.
He's a busy
guy. What's the deal?
I'm a bad friend.
Is it me? Would it take me? Am I the leverage? Friend. Is that what Zach you're doing right now? You're trying to use me to get the mic?
I'm holding out for a hero.
I've just been waiting for somebody else to say they're going to play with me, so that way Mike's like, damn, I'm going to lose Zach as a friend.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out.
I
That FOMO
don't
will
want
bring
Mike
me in.
to have to hold out to the morning light. So
Jeez. All right, have you
whenever you
pinpointed
want to
your-
squat up,
have you
I'm more
pinpointed
than
your
happy to.
top character you want in the Black Series yet?
Oh, is that what we were talking about?
Yeah,
That's
you
what we were
still haven't
talking about.
answered.
To hell
long
with it,
time ago.
Dexter Jetster.
Do it. Let's do it. Episode
You know
2.
what? I want.
Obi-Wan.
That's my question. That's my request to the Star Wars team, and you don't need to come on camera to talk to me about it. You don't need to be uncomfortable.
Hey, so Patrick, Eric, Jing, whoever's listening to this, Dexter Jetster.
You know what? Give us some kind of big, bulky, non-human alien.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I agree with that.
something weird. Like it doesn't. It can be
Chewbacca?
like a once a year thing. Like a once a year, just give us
this
something
year's
that's
year.
outside the base body.
I will say though, they did announce, or they did pipeline the deluxe Black Chrysanthemum from Boba Fett. So
From Book of Boba Fett.
and it's
They
going to
did
be a
do
new
that.
mold. It's not going to be that comic version that's just a Chewbacca.
But I wonder how
re-release.
much of that was just reaction to. That was not in
Oh,
the
it was 100
pipeline.
No, it was 100%. Like, oh, people are mad. We need to fix this.
But I don't count that. They know how to do a Wookiee. They know how to do. I want to see
yeah,
a
that's
genuine, just an alien character, like again a Moba Nadon. Give us a Hammerhead.
Yeah.
Give us.
Momo, yeah, he's been on my. I do a yearly want list, and Memo Naden's been on there for like the last 3 years. So
So or what
100%.
whatever the Duros. You got a Duros.
Yeah.
You've done a
Cad
Cad
Bane,
Bane.
you already-
Put him in
yeah.
a spacesuit and
Yeah.
add him for the Cantina playset.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
would love to see them do a
give us a
new.
Moof Tack and Cabe 2-pack.
Yeah,
Again, he doesn't have to be super articulated. Just a big hunk of plastic. It can be
Yeah.
5 POA in that big hunk, but he's there. He's in scale.
Yeah.
I would love to
Give
see
him
a
some
new
drinks.
Jabba the Hutt for the anniversary, or at least a re-release. I mean, I have him, but I,
I mean,
would
do
like
you,
to see.
but you don't like our curve series. You're against
Well,
re-releases.
they can put it in Return of the Jedi anniversary packaging, like they did with the Wampa for Empire.
Listen, the fact that we
And
haven't
that'd be
heard
great.
an announcement either about a 3 3/4 scale release of Jabba, which never got. I mean, at least that Black Series one got a store release as just a Jabba the Hutt. I have had to hunt forever to get this stupid thing, this 3 3/4 scale modern Jabba the Hutt, because it was only ever released if you got the super expensive Rancor playset, Target exclusive,
Yep, I remember that.
or the sail barge for the HasLab was the only way. And this thing is just a scaled down Black Series sculpt.
Yeah.
And that was the only way to
It kind
never
of is,
carded.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It is.
looks
Oh, it's
the
exactly.
same
It's
without
exactly
the-
it.
Does it have
Yeah.
the?
It just doesn't
the-
have the action feature.
It doesn't. It doesn't have the opening mouth. And
Yeah,
all that?
And you know what? I would prefer
and
it-
they fixed the tail, so it has the scar, which the Black Series does not.
Yeah, Black Series doesn't. I would prefer it if they did a new Jabba the Hutt in the Black Series to not have an action feature. I don't like it when gimmicks are tied to articulation.
I'm sorry.
I kind
but-
of like it though. It's
The
neat.
fact that
I mean, I have
hi
it, but
everybody, I'm Jabba. How you doing?
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
I don't like that. If I want to move the mouth, I want to move the mouth. If I want to move the arm, I want to move the arm. I don't want them tied together.
Well, that makes Jabba sad.
So you could do the same thing if they had a lever on the back of his head. You can do the same thing if
But
you
you
had a
don't
lever.
want that would affect the sculpt. You don't
But
want a
it don't.
lever on the back of his head,
I don't want his arm to control his mouth.
Mike. Mike, you want to hug?
Don't talk. Don't talk. You
Mike.
sound like Zero the Hutt. You sound like Truman
Mike.
I was about to
Capote.
say, it sounds
You
more
don't know
like
what
the one
Jabba
from Clone
sounds like
Wars.
talking in basic. Mike.
That's true.
Mike.
Yeah, different vocal cords, different spots.
Maybe he does sound like Truman Capote. Who knows?
Hey.
This was a question that Mike came up with. What's your favorite innovation in the Black Series line
That Jabba the Hutt.
with the action feature?
I'm done. All right.
He's gone.
Oh, I mean, it would be irresponsible not to say the face painting, the face tech. It would be.
Yeah, the photo reel.
I mean, you can't have that photo reel exist and really pick anything else. I mean, articulation's always going to change, and we've seen that's not even standardized. They still will fall back to old articulation, depending on
Yeah.
the figure and the reuse.
We did have one person, I can't remember who it was, but they were a big, like big on articulation. So I think they said butterfly joints.
Yeah, but that's not consistent. None of that is, no articulation has been completely consistent. We go from this point forward. Like, can you imagine if they went back from the face tech? Like, if they went back to actual just hand painting the faces?
Yeah.
Can you imagine picking a figure up and going, what? Whoa.
Why does it look so weird?
But yet we pick up figures that have old articulation all the time, and it's not like, toss this in the trash. But if I saw some of the old face painting come back, I wouldn't be picking that figure
I agree.
up.
Good point.
So
yeah, and it's always weird to me when I see someone like post on a Facebook group or something. Hey, I just picked this up, and it's like the old version. Like I saw someone buy the Qui-Gon Jinn, like the original version. I'm like, oh, that's one of the worst ones. He's got those weird sunken dead eyes.
Unless you're a completionist, I don't understand anyone who would buy. Like I would, just because there may not ever be a chance of them ever releasing it again for whatever reason, even though they claim, that it's not outwardly dictated, like that Hutt Slayer Leia. Like I would like to have a Hutt Slayer just because it's a character I'd like to have, and that's the only version that's available.
And she looks good with your Jabba the Hutt. Like I've got mine posed leaning up against my Jabba the Hutt, like she was in the movie. I'm glad.
Oh no, I would have mine totally on the back, just squeezing him. That's why he would be. That way, he's just like.
That way you can't see the sculpt on her.
That's why you'd want that mouth, like there. That's my.
Yeah, well, so then I would want a tongue accessory coming out, so it's like sticking out.
Ask Lance Peter Luke to make you one.
I want. That's true. I want choke fetish Jabba the Hutt.
And I want Salacious to watch.
The problem is Jabba just didn't know his.
That's why he's called Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, he's very salacious.
Yeah.
TVC, they got to be releasing Jabba the Hutt soon since they did that big giant play set that you can take the throne off, right? They got to Return of the Jedi anniversary coming up.
But the problem with that,
hopefully they do soon.
That Book of Boba Fett, the one you're talking about, with the big Boba.
Can you
figure
take the throne off and have it just be the slab?
You don't have the railing, so you need a release of Jabba with his railing and the bowl to be able to finish that set.
To finish that.
But I didn't know. I haven't seen anything on there yet that looks forward thinking, like, oh, hey, there's a peg hole off to the side where you can. They're clearly planning on this being modular, because otherwise you're just going to have that thing sliding all over the place if you try and put the bowl on your display. So, because they have done that before. I think in the early 2000s, the release of Jabba came with just the railing and the bowl in a package. Like that was the totality. There was no throne. It was just the bowl and the railing.
Yep. I remember that.
So anything's a throne. Any part of your shelf is going to be his throne. So they'd have to do that for the Jabba release. But but the fact that they have an existing sculpt, they have an existing mold for both the scales.
Haven't put it out there,
But there's also been no announcement. The thing I don't understand about these, about the PulseCon, about the 1027, about the London Con,
1027 was terrible.
Like, I don't understand even who's guiding how you build excitement. I don't understand the secrecy game. If it's planned, also knowing how many existing pre-orders are out there, like you're not gonna overwhelm people. People are already overwhelmed. We've already crossed the threshold of there being too much stuff out there.
Good point.
Let people get excited. The Jabba would be genuinely exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 Num would be genuinely exciting. A Max Rebo band would be genuinely exciting. Let us know. Even just if you want to do that, the pipeline, because you don't have anything to show yet, just feed people the excitement of letting them know you're working on it. Because if you're working on it, I don't see how it's not happening.
Right.
So if the plan is in place, don't parcel out like, well, we're going to tell you about the fall stuff in the spring. Tell us it's coming in fall. We've waited 2 years for some figures to arrive on shelves. We're fine with the wait. If there's anything,
we've proven that we're fine with
the wait. Talk to the Hot Toys people.
Yeah.
When things are announced 2 and 3 years out.
I have the Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader on pre-order.
Yeah.
That thing, the payments for it don't even start until the end of 2023.
Ewan McGregor's new child is going to be a teenager by the time that thing comes out.
It's true.
So we're fine with the wait. Just give us the announcements and the excitement. Let us know also for the secondary market. Like, don't play games. If someone can go, hey, if you just be patient, you don't have to pay $100 for that Java. We'll charge you 70, but you don't have to pay 100 right now. Just be patient. It's gonna, it's gonna probably look better than it did because we'll tweak the paint a little bit because that's where do we do that anyway? But it's coming. It's just let us know it's coming. Or the fact that I paid a really ridiculous amount of money for this, considering how small this thing is and what a cornerstone iconic character this is to the franchise. And if I'm holding, for the people listening, the audio, I'm holding the little 3 3/4 scale modern Java that is less than 10 years old. It's less than 10 years old. The fact that if I had known
2014,
if I had known next year this is coming, I would have waited.
Right. And Hasbro didn't make any money off of that from you because you bought it.
They made zero. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
And this was a significant upcharge considering this was broken out of the Rancor pack, which means that person sold a Rancor that's not been re-released since, the Jabba that's not been re-released since, the Leia that's figure in there has not been re-released since.
It also came with the Jedi Luke, I think, didn't it?
The fact that what would have been, I think like what at retail, the original SRP was maybe 125 on that.
I thought it was 90, but maybe that might have been the
and it dropped down to. I think it eventually dropped down to like 40.
Yeah, they were clearancing those out for a while. I remember that. Yeah,
that's all I would see at Toys R Us.
But the fact that they made a lot of money off of that set. That you can't even just let collectors know, hey, or fans know, these characters are coming. We are why the cagey game and the wink, and that's the thing. Watching those streams, that is the thing that, if anything, gets me aggravated. And again, I don't blame the team. I don't know what they're being told not to say, how they're being told not to say it, but the fact that they're not forthcoming. And it's a wink and a nudge. Well, we're always looking at things. We're always considering things.
We can't comment on future releases.
The Q&As are so stupid that they do.
Oh, those round tables? The round tables were utterly pointless. I rant
on this all the time, I feel like, lately. They're just hard to listen to.
It's a waste of their time as much as it is anyone who participated and is watching them.
It's the epitome of this could have been an email. Like when you go to a meeting and you're like, this could have been an email. Like
everything they say is like, we've definitely considered that, but we can't comment on anything.
Oh, we're listening. We're listening.
Is
the other thing.
We're listening.
What I do like, because I do like the information they'll give when they're releasing it, but they also have done those individual little Hasbro Pulse videos of like Chris or Eric talking about the figure, so you can still get that information without having to wait through a really awkward live stream. So I'm cool if they do stuff like that.
Yeah, do pre-produced videos. Aren't live, aren't putting people on the spot.
No.
Yeah, they can
do a thing with 17 takes where everyone's super comfortable. It's all chill.
Yeah.
It could just be two hands playing with a figure going, this is what, and look, it does this. Isn't this cool?
Yeah. Because, there's someone like Emily or Jean, because they're girls, if they ever misspeak, like I misspoke on this calling, Death Trooper, Dark Trooper. Like, I know the difference. I know the difference.
Dark Trooper, Death Trooper?
That's what I said. So, but if I were, on the live stream, misspeaking like that, they're like, "Oh, Mike doesn't know what he's talking about." And no one would make that mistake if they knew anything about Star Wars. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
why are they even on this team?
Yeah, exactly. He's a fake fan. He's just in it for the money. He's just in it for the paycheck. I'm a shill. I mean, that's true.
Well, this whole thing's a tax write-off.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This is a shell podcast. People don't understand.
Why I
this
have
only
the
exists.
Podcast.
This only exists for money laundering purposes.
No, that's it. It's all a write-off.
Landspeeder Luke doesn't even exist. He's
someone I created. That's why you never see his face.
He's a figure mule.
That's right. It's like the episode in The Office when they hit that commission cap, so they made up an extra salesperson to get sales. They can
distribute.
Distribute. Yeah.
Smart.
All right.
So
The next question.
There's more. Okay.
We still got
There-
more questions.
There's two more. There's two more questions.
Stop talking and answer the questions.
How many questions are pipelined?
At least 4.
Yeah, we got whole wave.
Jabba the Hutt is one of them.
Lies. Liar.
What is your favorite era of Star Wars to collect? Whether it be sequels, prequels, originals, Mandalorian era.
I can honestly say I do not have a favorite era of the stuff that's come out. I am open to any character from any era that just happens to be a favorite. I don't focus. I don't focus on. I doors open to anything being. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'm certainly like I only collect Return of the Jedi figures. It doesn't matter if Han is wearing that shirt. That's the shirt he wore in the carbon freezing chamber, and you can tell because the buttons are off. So I'm not going to collect it. It's not part of the collection. None of that. No, if it's a cool character, fine. So agnostic.
You collect for coolness. I respect
Good
that.
Or
answer.
fun. Yeah, just fun.
Good answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's on my shelf. Shelf space limited. I don't care what Akbar I get. I just care if my Akbar can really be emoting.
That's what's important.
Yeah, because he's a Broadway star. He's the Akbar of the theater.
He
Singing
acts
to the
towards
rafters.
back of the
Yeah.
Of the
Oh no,
audience.
he acts big.
Yeah.
You sure do seem to care about what Dr.
Are you
Afra you
saying
want, though.
Are you saying he overact bars?
So the questions are done, right? What?
One more question.
You know what? But it doesn't. You asked for era. Doesn't
You did.
mean that I don't. Wouldn't I would like both Afras. I'm going to get the Afra when it comes out. That doesn't negate that I would like the version that when she originally appeared when I got introduced to the character and would like that, which is what makes me disappointed that for a figure that Hasbro knows. I don't know why anyone has any confusion about. They know what the aftermarket's like. They have the internet like we do.
It's like $100.
They know these things. So the idea that, and we again don't know the decision-making process, or in the fact that they're fighting behind the scenes for these things, going, hey, these figures are selling for like $150 each. Why don't we just, archive them? We can do an
Throw 'em a
archive
bone.
release, and it totally cuts the legs out from that gouging that exists out there for a product that is legitimately hard to find. It
Right.
wouldn't be that expensive if it was an easy figure to. If I could go down to Ollie's, and if I see one more friggin' post from someone who goes, well, I remember when the Captain Rex was there was a ton of them at
below.
Ollie's. Well, that's nice. That was a couple of years ago. I'm happy that you got to witness that. But it doesn't exist like that now. The fact is, these things are expensive. Or people talk about, the Leia was a peg warmer. Well, it's not now.
It's not that way now. Yeah.
And people know that they can gouge for it, and people will pay it because it's the only option that's available until the archive comes out. Like if you looked at how like the Tarkin prices dropped, because then what you see at that point when an archive announcement is made or those figures come out is all the market that's left for that original version are people who want the packaging.
Yeah.
People that want that specific version of that release. Everyone else just wants the figure. That's it. That's all they were concerned about.
And then there's figures that are super popular, so even the archive figure is expensive, like Anakin and Darth Maul and Boss.
Which
somehow.
then, if it's an archive release that's supposed to be in a generic enough package, that should be evergreen. Like the original Star Wars line was.
Yeah.
In, the vintage, the way that was those figures were continually kept. Once they're sold through,
Yep.
sell them again. And that is why Pulse should exist. Why direct market from Hasbro should exist. Put them up for pre-sales. Set a limit, knowing that it is an already sculpted. You have the molds. You have the ability. What's your threshold to put this back into production? Say, hey, here's our pipeline for archive releases. Put your pre-orders in now. If the figure reaches the pre-order goal, we make it. That's how you keep without having to ahead of time make a product that might sit on shelves that maybe retailers like Walmart or Target might balk at and go, we're not,
It's like a purchase
there's no
to
guarantee.
order thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically you're
It's like a little mini
guaranteeing
HasLab kind of.
Yeah, you're guaranteeing
yeah.
what the threshold and the fact, that's the thing that is baffling and shows where their mindset really is. It's like, no, if they don't do stuff like that, then it's not for the fans or the collectors. It's like, what your profit point is. That's the SRP of the figures.
Right.
You know what the SRP of these figures are. So find out what the production minimum is to keep it at that point that you've set as your archive line price of, if it's $22, $24.99, whatever it be, and say, if we get 3,000 pre-orders on this figure, it goes back into production. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. No skin off our nose, because that means, it is never going to get produced otherwise. But if it means that the market, i.e., the fans can legitimately help to say, this is the figure we want back out, then the Hasbro's not taking a risk. We have the chance of getting the things. That I think is the best use of the HasLab model.
Yeah. I agree.
Because it's taking the risk off of Hasbro to do things that otherwise wouldn't have been done. And the fact that they've blue skied it and created this weird artificial rails around what is a HasLab, this whole blue, it has to be something that would never go at retail. Why? Why can't it just be like accessory packs? Like, can I buy like a dozen lightsabers from you because they break all the time, or you lose accessories?
You talked to that about Eric. Like
I did talk with
that
was like the third thing I brought up with him. I'm like, I've got so many broken lightsabers that I want to buy accessory packs.
Why? And that's the thing, they can run off
Jedi
till
robes,
the cows
lightsabers,
come
blasters. Yeah.
I mean, they sold. When Phantom Menace came out, do you remember the accessory packs that they did?
Yeah, they had the Naboo climbing one, they had the underwater one.
Here's the Tatooine one that just had some. It has a poncho.
Had a poncho in it, yeah.
And because they already had the tooling and the ability to do that. That poncho is the same poncho that's on Qui-Gon. If you buy the Qui-Gon figure, just allow these things to happen. This is the direct marketing thing that they should and could be doing with HasLab, and I just don't understand why. And I don't know if it's not thinking outside of the box, if it's just whatever corporate above them not allowing thinking outside of the box like this. But to my thinking, this is easy money.
Yeah,
with existing.
They call it like
tooling.
HasLab Light or something. Like a mini HasLabs or something.
Or just call it Pulse. This is the Pulse store.
Yeah.
The Pulse
Finger
store.
on the Pulse.
Yeah. The
Something
Pulse
like
store sells all these things. And this is,
they got the molds.
Yeah, otherwise.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's not even like a HasLab where this is a brand new product or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're just reissuing things they already have.
And there's a
they've already
demand.
made. Yeah.
Ask the folks on Etsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do one,
the
like you said,
China
they can do one for
knockoffs,
Afra, Hunter, Crosshair. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, thinking like the popular ones that I've seen people
inability to get.
Yeah, the Captain Rex, all the ones they've been up for pre-order that never came out, like 100%.
Indoor Luke now is like over $50 or something.
Or throw
like
people a
double.
bone and say why, or if it's in the pipeline, like, well, we haven't released archive because we're going to do a tell people. Yeah. That's the information you should and could be sharing, with the understanding that nothing's a promise, but this is why you're not seeing it. We're trying to do this because I think, and just because of the way the world exists now and how everyone's on edge after multiple years of pandemic and just chaos and everything that's going on, it's like the patience for games right now when it comes to these, just it's stress that's unnecessary.
Yeah, over something that's supposed to be fun. Like this is supposed to be a hobby, a fun hobby.
Yeah, and it doesn't, and it shouldn't be stressful for the teams either. For the teams at Hasbro to dread facing fans
Yeah.
and having to hide or fear for their safety or in that respect. And when it should be just, pre-orders shouldn't be stressful. Just getting none of that getting the stuff should be stressful. Talking about the stuff shouldn't be stressful. None of these. This is the most ridiculous stress to have with everything that's going on in the world, to be going, oh my God, is Target going to sell out in 5 seconds?
Right.
On a pre-order?
I think a lot of it started before the pandemic. There was a point in 2017, 2018. I didn't even want to tell people I was a Star Wars fan. Like, it just wasn't fun to talk about Star Wars because you don't know if the person you're talking to liked the sequels, didn't like the sequels. Like, there was this one guy that I worked with who we were friends, but as soon as he found out I liked The Last Jedi, it's like he was a dick. And he still talks to me, like we still message each other, but like anytime the sequels comes up, he's just an absolute dick about it. And I'm like, dude, like, leave it alone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can dislike a thing. You don't have to be an asshole about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that level. Are there more questions, please?
There's one more question. There's a final question that determines if you're going to be invited back or not.
Oh, well, I may ditch this. No.
That's fair. No, that's a good choice. That's a good
time
choice.
for tanking. No.
Yep.
TBS or TVC?
What's your preferred scale?
Why choose?
This isn't one of the ones that you can't answer.
But I'm asking you. I'll answer it, but I'm asking you. Why does it have to be a binary? And is it just for the sake of the question in the show, or is it legitimately something that has to be a binary for you personally?
Sake of the show. We have a fake rivalry. We have a fake rivalry with TVC because there are people out there that legitimately hate the Black Series.
So we play off the.
We play off.
I mean, also to be fair, again, this the veil of secrecy over a lot of these things and decision making, where people think that it's a zero-sum game, like somehow a figure existing in the Black Series precludes it existing in TVC or vice versa.
I say that all the time. Like, this is not a zero-sum system. Just because one of them
clearly
gets
not
one doesn't
happening.
mean, drives me insane.
And also, first out of the gate isn't necessarily ever best out of the gate. So to also have
that
usually
too.
not.
Yeah.
It's usually not.
My answer would change. I think, honestly, if I'm going to answer for pure honesty, based on where prices are going and space considerations, it would have to be TVC. Just because it is
Boba Fett.
It is the practical, but
looking kind of crazy,
or a $32 Boba Fett,
or a $50 speeder bike with Biker Scout.
How much would that be in the Black Series right now? Well, how much was that? How much was that Amazon exclusive?
It was 50.
So how much do you think it would be now
55.
if they released it in the Black Series?
Well, so part of me thinks that it's a little bit more expensive because in the box is a fully carded Biker Scout. Like, there's a speeder bike in it and then a fully on-card Biker Scout.
Which is now, at their new SRP, a $17 figure.
Right. So I feel like that's driving the price up, and they wouldn't have done that for a Black Series figure. Like, it wouldn't be on a card in a box for a Black Series figure.
Do me a favor though, Mike. Can you hold up that Ahsoka, Grogu, and Mandalorian box set and tell me the price on that again?
Yep. It's $70.
Okay. So
that's probably what it would be.
So if they're re-releasing,
I think,
even though it had already come out, if they're re-releasing that speeder bike with a Biker Scout with it, how much do you think it would be now?
Probably $70.
I would bet you that it would be closer to 100 than 70.
You think so?
Because I think they also think they can get it.
Probably.
And how much is that Black Series on the aftermarket right now?
Well, it was also an Amazon exclusive, which
and probably would be again.
And could be,
I was actually thinking about while we were talking with the Endor Leia and Endor Luke, I would have paid $50 a piece had they come with a speeder bike at the time. Or like
how much
60
was
bucks.
the indoor set? Because that had the speeder bike in it,
90?
and it came with
It was
3 figures.
90.
But that
Figures, came with
feels
4 figures.
But that also feels a little more. I don't know. I mean, so
So
50,
if that was 90, then the regular Scout with the Trooper would probably be closer to.
Of course, that was
65
what 2020 $90.
Yeah, that was going on 3 years ago now.
right.
Yeah,
So the figures at that time would have been what, at the 22 price point.
22.
that's when they. That is when they.
So you're paying but then you were paying less than $30 for
Yep.
a fully articulated speeder bike.
Right.
Prices
but-
are crazy.
weird, man.
Prices are getting crazy everywhere. It's insane.
I mean, it's just.
Hopefully people's salaries are going up.
Do you see in your own buying, Mike, I know I don't think I've determined whether or not, Zachary, if you are a completionist when it comes to collecting the series.
Zach's
I am not a completionist. I'm not as selective as I thought I would be getting back into the line.
But you're not Mike.
And part of that might be because of doing the podcast. I've never bought a figure specifically for.
I'm a bad enabler.
I need something for like fine editions or anything. But sometimes I do buy stuff saying I feel like I need to keep my knowledge up about the topic, So
You also bought a bunch of stuff to give away on the channel too.
Yeah, but it never feels like a chore to buy them,
Yeah.
Because when I was getting back into the line, I thought I was going to do, I'll do main characters and a side character here and there. But now I just feel like my passion for the line is so high. But I am selective. I'm not a completionist, but I'm not as selective as
He can quit anytime he wants, Ken.
What was the last thing you looked at and went, I'm not getting that?
That 3-pack?
Definitely the Mando. Like if it's something I already have and it's re-released on something that's not like a cool card, I'm not getting it.
Right.
But specifically, it's probably some of the Christmas figures. I mean, those are mostly repaint, so I'll try to find something that's a new mold. Honestly, the Andor figures.
Yeah, you canceled your
I canceled the case
pack.
because they're just not action figure-y, like Star Wars action figure-y enough for me. They're like G.I. Joes, kind of.
But can you imagine the conversation on your shelf that Luthen and the client are going to have? That's going to be incredible. I want to be a fly on the wall for that.
That would be very interesting. But I mean, other than that, I pretty much get most of the stuff. So
then, Mike, is there a threshold for you, just as prices rise and stress increases with trying to track everything down, that you go, the completionist thing, just life's too short?
There will be a point where, like I said, if they do a fourth wave of the credit collection, I probably will not get them. Right now, I've had to cut back on other lines, like other things I've collected. Like I've, for the most part, stopped buying Marvel Legends, with the exception of one or two, just ones that kind of stick out to me. But I used to buy a ton. I've started cutting back on like Transformers and things like that. So to keep up with being able to buy the level Black Series at the level that I want to buy a Black Series.
So what you're saying is that Star Wars is making you sacrifice other things that you like.
Correct.
How does that feel like a good position to be in, just emotionally, for dealing with what should be a fun hobby?
Yeah, because I had to make the decision of what do I really care about and what do I want on my shelf, because it wasn't even just a price point, because all the prices are going up for everything. It was, what do I care about right now? What do I want to display? And displaying is becoming, space is a premium in my toy room right now. So do I want to have, Power Rangers Lightning Collection? I don't even care about Power Rangers. I've never watched any of them past the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but I think that they look cool. So I was collecting them. And then I got to a point where, like, I don't really care about these anymore. A switch just turned off. So now most of those are in a bin in my garage, and I've got a couple still on my shelf, but I don't really buy them anymore. And I still have them displayed because I like the way some of them look. But it's not so much.
It's feeling more like a phase.
Yeah. There are some that I'm collecting because at the time I did like them, and then I sort of fell out of like when push comes to shove and money is becoming a factor and space is becoming a factor, what really makes the cut? Like, I always try to think, if my house is burning down, which living in Southern California is a real issue, what would I carry out of here? What is important to me? Is this shelf of Transformers something that's important to me? Is this shelf of Black Series something that's important to me? What is interesting to me? What do I really care about? What do I care about displaying?
So which one? What's the first one you grab? What's the first one on the shelf you grab?
Oh,
you're running out of the house.
Yeah, Ken or Boba Fett, just because of what he means to me, being someone got it for me. But the first things I actually will carry out are my 1/4 scale Ninja Turtles up there. They're about all I can pick. Hey, it's not even Star Wars.
That's so
but
random.
I love them so much.
I don't know why that just came out of nowhere. You're like, these Ninja Turtles. I got it.
I do. No.
The way he turned
Just
the camera.
specifically those 1/4 scale Ninja Turtles.
Is that why they're right by the door? So in case,
100%. Because I can just run in.
Is there a go bag hung to the side of that shelf?
It's in the closet. Yeah.
Grab and drop. Grab and drop.
That's
grab
it.
And
grab
drop.
and drop and get them. So when I was a freshman in high school, we did have a fire that came right up to across the street, and we did have to get evacuated. And at the time, I stashed. My mom's like, put some clothes in your hamper, and we'll put the hamper in the car so you'll have some clothes. And I put in like a shirt and a jeans and a pair of underwear, and I put all of my Star Wars figures, all of my Power of the Force 2 Star Wars figures. I just dumped in there because I wasn't going to not have my Star Wars figures.
I was at my cousin's house a long time ago when we were kids. I had this like giant tub of like action figures, tons of wrestling figures, Star Wars figures, Dragon Ball Z figures. We had to go to his basement for a tornado warning, and he always just makes fun of me because I carried my tub of figures to the basement so that they wouldn't get destroyed if there was if the ceiling if the roof got blown off. I need my toys. I was probably like 9 or 10 at the time, but I needed them. I can't sacrifice them. And to piggyback on what you were saying, I did the same thing with the Marvel Legends I've been getting into. They've released all those really cool Spider-Mans lately, like the bombastic Bagman and the Japanese version and the Amazing Fantasies. And all
Spider-Man.
I have that one on my Power Rangers shelf.
And my bombastic Bagman is spinning there.
I've actually canceled Spider-Mans that aren't like, I want like an MCU only collection. Not only, but I do have a couple of the Spider-Mans now. Like I have the retro Venom that was some SDCC set or whatever, and then or PulseCon or whatever, and then I have like the symbiote retro Spider-Man, and that's like it. I've kind of cut back.
But you didn't cancel the Bagman though, right? That's like
I did. It's
the best one of all.
I know, but I don't have a connection to the character.
He comes with his own Kick Me sign. Come on.
He does come with a Kick Me sign.
He's
Think
a very
of all the
cool
different
figure,
figures you could
but,
put that Kick Me sign on.
Think of all the different kit
That's
bashing
true.
you could put in that Fantastic Four outfit. That's what I'm
There you
doing.
go.
I'm going to make so many members of the Fantastic Four right now.
Cool.
Imagine
cool.
Darth Vader with a Kick Me sign on his back. I think I just actually sold myself a bombastic Bagman, and I it's not the first figure I would have bought just for an accessory.
Come
I'll
on,
be honest.
you need to get it. Sold and sold.
No, I do have the Spider-Man because Dan Larson and I watched Sentai together, which is one of the reasons why I liked the Power Rangers, because I do have a connection to the Sentai versions. And we watched a couple episodes of Spider-Man, and it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I love it. I just love it. And that's my story. That's the end of my podcast.
So what's the one you're grabbing off the shelf then, Zach?
Me? Oh, no, I'm grabbing the turtles. That's all I have.
You're grabbing the turtles.
for
What's
you.
Zach grabbing? It's not all about you, Mike.
You grabbing your hot toy?
I'm grabbing the not just because of the figure, but I'm grabbing the Emperor Palpatine autographed by Ian McDermott figure for sure. And then
that's a good one.
Yeah, just
because he told you to do it.
Do it.
Yeah, he told me. What was
That's another one. If they're going to do all the old men in Black Series, I want a Senator Palpatine.
Yeah, he's like
100%.
he's the one old white man that we need and haven't.
I mean,
haven't
come
gotten.
on. That's, again, the conversation on the shelf being tremendous with the client and Luthen and Palpatine.
Yeah.
And Ben
Senator
Kenobi
Palpatine.
and
Give us
Tarkin.
Chancellor Palpatine. Give us all the Palpatine. Give me Papa Palpatine.
Yeah. Oh,
Like a
I mean,
four-pack if it's
the head
phases through the
reuse on
prequels.
that.
Yeah.
Give us that the same way they did in the Phantom Menace toy line. Just give him the
with
little camera
floating camera droid.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a new Yoda and through a 2-pack, like a battle 2-pack.
I would buy that.
That was one that
for that.
astonished me. Speaking of, because we talked about the dearth of aliens,
Yeah.
Jar Jar. That we got a Jar Jar in the Black Series is astounding to me, because that is all new tooling. That is across the board.
Yeah,
They can't reuse anything they've done.
Not even
accessories.
on a different Gungan. Yeah.
Not anything. That is. They had to decide to make a Jar Jar.
If they did a Captain Tarpals, they could reuse the accessories, but they would have to do a completely new Gungan body for it.
Right, and they'll never do a Tarpals.
And Ken, what's funny about the Jar Jar is they
Tarpals.
re-released the Jar Jar as on the Phantom
That's
Menace
true.
card. And what was the price point? It was at least the same or higher, and they didn't include the accessories.
The shield, right?
It was missing the shield. Yeah.
Yeah, like come on.
But
now.
you can get that, I think, for $10 on Best Buy right now, clearance.
Yeah,
Which, you know what? It is a great figure. It is a
figure.
really good,
Yeah.
and he's got like his, he's got his karaoke accessory, which is what I consider. It's like one of those star microphones.
Yeah, the little boom the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's his star microphone. He's there doing karaoke
Yeah.
with my Akbar figure that came with his little his display shield from the chair they didn't give him.
Oh,
So
right.
he comes with his little display to hold by hand. But yeah, so
Ear on
that
my
I
Jar
think is
Jar's broken.
the most alien figure that we've gotten out of them on a standard Black Series release. That's not an exclusive. That's not some weird chase. Can you think of anything else?
Zeb from Rebels.
Zeb. And that Zeb took forever to come out.
Yeah. Well, and both of those were clearly in, because the artwork for them got released back in 2019. The artwork was leaked by the artist guy, I think it was. And both of them, you can tell they've been in production for a long time, or at least held on to, because they have the older articulation, like the knees are the older style, things like that. Which is kind of a dead giveaway that
Do you think those final releases were held off because they knew they were switching to the photo reel? And it's like, why are we going to put these out and have to put them back out again right away?
I think part of it was the hold off of packaging, but so one of the other things that got
because they were in the Galaxy packaging.
yeah,
when
they were both in the new Galaxy packaging. But another part of that because a lot of that same leak, like Captain Bly, got released, and that was part of that leak. But the crate Luke Skywalker from TLJ was also part of that leak, and that never got released. And that, to my knowledge, that's the only leaked figure.
So what killed that?
Yeah, well, I think the reaction to Last Jedi killed that, honestly.
And yet everyone wants, and that's one of the most hard to find, expensive TVC figures right now.
Yeah.
To get that crate Luke.
Yeah, and I would love a crate Luke. I think crate Luke was great. If I had to choose any sequel Luke Skywalker, it would be the crate Luke.
Oh yeah. Oh no, and he's got to have the articulation enough to do.
Yeah. Give him the little shoulder.
Yeah,
brush off
shoulder swipe.
Yeah.
It's got his arm needs to at least reach to there.
Yeah,
and pose that way.
We'll probably never see it. And the other two that have been heavily rumored and hinted, but maybe not coming out of the Rise of Skywalker, Luke and Leia, the flashback scene one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand.
And we never will. Not until we get high up in the Hasbro ranks. So we all need to get jobs at Hasbro.
I don't know, I don't know what the culture is either amongst teams, because it certainly seems, maybe just being a function that, Steve's Marvel team seems to be a lot more forthcoming with things that are and excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think the Engine of Vengeance killed a lot of enthusiasm.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't blame them. They designed a product. They didn't pick a price.
Right. Well, they didn't even design it. It was there's a HasLab team now that's in charge of designing all that stuff.
Oh, well, then they had to sell.
They had to sell it. Yeah.
They had to
sell
be the
someone
face
else. Yeah.
of the Engine of Vengeance. So I don't
exactly
blame
what
them.
Yeah.
But, and that's no criticism. Maybe Patrick being, sort of the face of the Star Wars team, that just isn't his strong suit to be.
Right.
And, there's a difference between being an enthusiastic cheerleader and being one that feels like it's an obligation.
Right.
Or an inconvenience. And again, some folks just are more comfortable with that thing. But I wish that Star Wars, as a line in Hasbro, had an enthusiastic cheerleader face of it that wants to be the face of it, which does not mean that any of the people can't continue to do their jobs on that team. It's not replacing anyone.
Yeah. I don't want anyone to get fired. I just want someone to be the face of the
who's
team.
comfortable and wants to be that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That legitimately wants to be out there and deal with the it isn't even dealing with the fans, because it doesn't have to be a two-way street.
No.
And I think them inviting in leads to the fan entitlement and toxicity existing. It's like, you know what, fans, we don't. If you haven't learned yet that we really don't determine what happens on a lot of levels with this line, and we sort of have to accept that or move on, that's always an option that I think a lot of people just don't want to accept, but is absolutely, irrefutably the truth, is that you can move on. Yeah. And if you are continually unhappy with a toy line,
maybe it's time to find something else you want to be happy with.
Find another hobby. Find that isn't going to cause you the stress and the strain.
Yep.
Because you're trying to, you can't move that boulder.
Yeah. I said this the other day in a Facebook group, someone complaining about the plastic-free packaging. He's like, well, I'm out. I don't like these, so I'm not going to collect them anymore. My response was, well, are you going to leave the group then? Like, this is a Star Wars Black Series collecting group. If you're not collecting it anymore, are you just going to stick around and complain, or are you going to move on? Like, what's the point of just sticking around to complain?
What was their answer?
They didn't respond.
No, he did reply to you, and he said,
"Oh, did he?"
He did reply. He said, well, "I think I'm going to stick around for now." Blah blah blah. And I was like,
"Yeah,
of course."
All right. I didn't even look. I don't bother even looking at that stuff because I don't care what their answer is. I wanted to say it to make them think and try to either.
But there's other parts of it. Well, what do they expect when they
did
this? Well, this is the.
It's not even their choice. You think Patrick's like, we have to go plastic-free packaging? It wasn't the Star Wars team's choice. All they could do is
what's going to upset the fans today? Let's do that.
Oh yeah! Again, that mustache twirling
jerks. With their love of things.
With their love of money.
What's the wait? What was that person that posted on the board? Let's ruin his childhood today.
That's right. Let's go back in time and punch his dog and then change the Black Series.
Is this your dog? Do you love your dog?
Be a shame if something happened to it.
Your dog is gone dog free.
We are off the rails.
There were rails?
Well, I think that's about time to wrap up. We've been going for...
Did I go longer than Dan? That's all that matters.
Oh, yeah, he did. No, you went longer than Dan.
Please tell Dan. I'm going to text Dan and let him know
No, it's fine. And you will 100% also have a higher download and listen count than Dan, because his episode has our lowest, absolutely bar none, lowest download count. Well, to be fair,
his episode, he wasn't Dan in that episode.
No, he was Ace Striker or something like that.
Yeah. So he can always blame it on that person.
On that persona. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dan contains multitudes, I think, is really the takeaway.
He's a faceted individual. Yeah.
Well, what a fabulous conversation we had here. We got deep. In some of this Hasbro Toy Black Series chat. Ken, do you have any thing you want to plug for our listeners and where they can find you, what you have going on?
Yeah, your listeners should definitely listen to the Black Series Cantina podcast.
Yes.
It's a really great show. It's a fun conversation. They should definitely check that out if they have time.
It's okay.
I hope if they've reached this point in the show that they have chosen to listen to it.
Tell them to sign up for Patreon.
They didn't accidentally listen to it.
Please sign up for their Patreon. Please support them in all the ways. And if there's anything left over in your heart that you would like to throw a little love my way, you could always support me on Patreon, or just check out the things I'm doing. Patreon.com/Ken Plume, or the Art of Ducktales book is out. You can pick that up. The Art of Venture Brothers, Go Team Venture. I don't know if it's still in print. See if you have it. I hope you like it. If it comes back in the print, pick it up. It's also great show. What else? Force 5, youtube.com/Ken Plume. Got some fun guests coming up that I can't quite talk about yet. And maybe...
What's with the secrecy? What's with the don't us know?
Ken.
What if I pay money?
I'm sorry, there are people above me that maybe they can't talk about things.
Give us the pipeline.
Making it difficult.
What's in the pipeline?
I never wanted to be out here. No, I'm waiting for them to confirm before I can say anything. So
that's fair.
And there might be a holiday thing. I'm contemplating a fun holiday thing that would maybe bring back some previous guests to do a little bit of a holiday celebration.
Gathering.
Yeah, holiday gathering of guests.
Yep.
Like a cocktail party.
Ooh.
So that'd be fun.
Tail.
Oh, we'll see if you make the list.
I wasn't assuming I was invited. I was gonna make a
you made it awkward,
and then I made it awkward. Yeah,
jeez, Mike. So many assumptions. I'll see what Dan has to say. Just
trying to make a joke, and then I chickened out on making the cock joke, and I said tail, and then it
listen. The ultimate thing is Dan Larson would never have been on Force 5 if it were not for Mike. So
right there,
Dan's appearance is wholly because of Mike.
Yeah. And then my appearance on yours is the only reason Zach and I are friends, apparently. I didn't know that. I learned that today.
It's kind of true. Yeah.
Well, the only reason you stayed, like the only reason he stuck around.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like he saw me because he'd already been on the fence from initial impressions enough to where watching you on Force 5 was a determining factor.
And to be fair, we'd already been doing the podcast for like a year.
I am just happy. I'm happy. It doesn't matter. Hey, people can always have doubts at any time. I'm just happy I made this relationship stronger. All I'm saying is, if anyone is having relationship issues in any way,
get on Force 5.
One of you get on Force 5. One half. That's how I fix relationships.
That's right.
You can get a better sense of the person you're with.
Yeah, watch out, Mike. You'll be doing this podcast with Blue Harvest.
We don't know if Mike's wife hasn't watched the show and gone, you know what? I'm going to deal with the collecting stuff a little bit longer. I'll stick around. He really does love that stuff. She has a larger book collection than I have a toy collection. So people are less judgy about books.
It's true, but she's not, and that's what
people
made it
don't
work.
think you're a weirdo.
I'm not even kidding. She has 10 copies of his Dark Materials trilogy. Like the same. She just loves that book every time she sees it.
So she has 30 books.
Yes, 100 of just that trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 copies of the complete trilogy.
But you're crazy for buying a Selfie Series figure.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen it yet, so that may still be very much true.
Do you want me to show you?
I've seen it.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
I've actually posted it on my Instagram.
Oh, well, I'll take a screen grab of this. This will be my Christmas card.
Mike, did I can't remember if I actually posted it or if it just went on my story.
Just in drafts?
Yeah, it wasn't good enough to go on the actual page. I did post it. No, his scan and everything. The actual figure is not on my page. His scan is on my page, though. But it's pretty accurate. His scan is pretty accurate to what delivered.
What he eventually got?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where it went.
Neither one of them are great.
It's somewhere, but I can't find it.
How could you? What?
I don't know where it went.
Did it hide itself?
Maybe
it should.
You left it in the box though, right? So a whole box is missing.
Oh yeah, no, it's still in the box somewhere, but I don't know where the box went. I don't know.
I'm trying to judge now how good an actor you are, and if this isn't a time, I can't find it. Oh darn!
I can't find it. Oh no,
shucks!
I genuinely
gonna have to save it for the video.
I don't know where it went. It's kind of weird.
You should open it live on New Year's Eve.
Well, I hope to have the video for it out before then. So
I mean, the entire selfie series is relying on your endorsement.
yes, 100%. Hasbro. That's why Hasbro sent me one for free.
Oh
There's
wow!
your sneak peek.
Please tell me the intensity of the eyes is in the actual figure.
It looks.
That looks
You
like
can see-
like a rejected MMORPG. Right?
This
like
is
it
a
looks
$5
like a
He
janky.
found it. He miraculously found it.
No, I found it. So the fun fact
miraculously
about this
appeared.
figure is I did the scan while I had COVID. So it's
Is that the wide-eyed look?
Yes, I have effectively eternally memorialized myself while I had COVID, and that's great.
Oh, so this figure it represents your long COVID.
Yep.
So you're basically Muggs Mayfeld.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely look like a. Yeah, that's 100%. That's. So for the people listening, if you want to see it before I do my, you can go check out our Patreon.
Yeah, because this is just a tiny.
You can go see
yeah,
it.
and anyone, but on the Patreon, just saw a tiny version on a
what?
third of the screen. So
For some people, that might be worth $5.
the proper. Oh no! Listen, they should get it because we don't know when that video is coming out or if it ever comes out. Mike may decide never to put that out. If you want to guarantee seeing it, go to the Patreon to watch the video.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And then we can hope maybe that'll trigger you actually releasing the video is how many people decide to go look at the sneak peek of it.
There you go. That's how we'll determine.
Yeah. So right now, the current HasLab project.
The Mike Lab project.
The Mike Lab.
Well, it's but looking at that figure, it really is just a function of the beard, but really the
Yep.
glasses. The glasses would
glasses,
solve
yeah.
It
so
makes a big
many
difference,
issues
yeah. Yep.
with people feeling like they were more accurate to representing themselves
Yep.
on the figure.
Yep. And I knew that was going to be that way, and I still went ahead and bought it because it's one thing to be like, I don't think that looks very good. To I know it's not very good because I can see it
Yeah.
in person with my eyeballs.
And you participated in it, so it's like
I participated.
Yeah, it's like a little.
And I have
memorial
COVID Mike
for-
now because why wouldn't you want COVID Mike?
Yeah.
COVID Mike the Mandalorian.
That's right.
What made you choose the Mando
Michelorian.
body?
I chose the Mando body because it's the best body to choose. The Stormtrooper body is old, and the knees tend to suffer from like rickets, where they kind of bend. And the Mando body is a little bit newer. It's got joints like butterfly joints and things like that. So,
And we already talked about how tiny that X-wing Luke body is.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. That's the oldest body. That was number one in the line. Was that X-Wing Luke?
Do you think it was because of the amount of material in the actual thing they didn't give like just a standard Jedi body?
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about again in person. I have all these thoughts of the things they could have done. Like, it's one thing to complain about, I don't like this, I don't like that. But what are the things they could have done to fix it?
I bet you the other reason why we haven't seen that. Every character you're talking about has gloves.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Good
So
point.
if you're talking about a selfie series, you'd have to do hand swaps.
That's true. For like different skin tones.
If you're just a
and things
Jedi,
like that.
I mean, most of the
Yeah.
Jedi don't wear gloves. So
that's a really good point.
I didn't think about that. I think you just nailed it.
You
is every
probably
single
did.
one of those, I think even for the like Ghostbusters, all the Ghostbusters
all
wear
have
gloves.
Yeah.
all the G.I. Joe characters.
G.I. Joe's gloves. Marvel Spider-Man's gloves.
Yeah, Iron Man.
So they had to limit it to
Spider-Man, Black
just
Panther.
base bodies that would allow a head swap be the only customizable thing on it.
Ken, you're
Because
a smart
Jedi
man.
would
I'm glad
think
we
would
had
be
you
a
on.
no-brainer as far as, oh yeah, everyone
Honestly,
wants
it
it
was
on a
weird
Jedi
they
body.
didn't do a Jedi, yeah. But now
I
that
want
makes
a Jabba
sense
the
because they
Hutt.
would.
But only if it has
Well,
the articulation.
That's the other thing is I'm not a skinny guy, but I feel like my face is a lot fatter on here than it is in person.
But you're not, it also is a flat print.
Yeah.
And so, the other thing that I would bet if you gave that to a customizer to actually do some depth work on it with the paint job, which the face printing really doesn't do depth terribly well, like shading as far as to create
the contour.
Yeah. Just like, hey, how the shadow hits a cheek.
Right.
I bet it would look a lot different.
Yeah. Probably.
And then the glasses. I think end of the day, if that thing had glasses on it, you'd feel it was a lot more accurate.
There are options for getting glasses for this scale on like Etsy and places, but it's like, do you want to spend another $20 for
So just as a test, when you do your review, because I'm assuming you haven't actually filmed it yet. You're just not.
I haven't.
So
haven't had.
Find what characters you have goggles.
Yeah.
That you can try the goggles on him and see how he looks with goggles on.
Well, I bought an X-Men Legends Beast. Just because
that has his science
he has
goggles.
The glasses, yeah.
Oh, he has the glasses.
He has glasses, yeah.
But they're rimless, right?
Coat. Yeah. Well, I don't know. They're just glasses.
But it's Star Wars. Give him some goggles.
All right. I mean, I've got the Chewbacca with goggles.
Yeah, the solo one.
The solo one.
Didn't you send a picture of your selfie series with glasses on? Or
I did send a picture. They don't help.
Are the
Veers hilarious?
Are the Veers goggles removable from his helmet?
They might be the Solo. The Mud Trooper Solo has goggles. Princess Leia had goggles,
which would probably be closer because it's not on a helmet.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I'll think of it. Yeah.
You see the thing with the goggles, then you're in the Star Wars universe because it's what your Star Wars character you'd be wearing prescription goggles.
Yeah. I do want to like find someone to give me sculpt a custom, like a Sculpey beard on my face. I really need a
3D print you one you can glue on.
See, I don't know if he can though. I don't want to put that on him if he doesn't want to. I don't know.
He's listening to this right now.
He is. Hey, hi Luke. How's it going? No, I'm not going to ask him.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not asking, but
no, I'm not asking.
But if I could have like a little beard accessory that I could stick on the front of it,
I'm just gonna buy a sticker and just stick it, and it'll just come down.
Why don't you just get a Post-it note and a brown
draw a beard
marker and just draw a little
exactly.
Tack it on. See how it looks.
Same thing.
Try it on.
Thing. Yeah.
It's on a shelf. It's far enough away. It'll look fine.
You squint hard enough, it'll look great.
You could Sculpey it on. You could just put some putty on it.
I cannot. I will not. I refuse.
Get some of the wood filler.
All right. Well, we really have to go.
I was stretching to make sure we lasted over 3.5 hours. I wanted to make sure that we could.
Plugs.
All right. Yeah.
Where can they find you?
I'm on the YouTube Mike Case. I just did a video on the archive wave with Han and Leia and Chewie. I purposefully skipped out on Tarkin, and someone got mad at me for doing that. I got
why?
Cad Bane. I don't know, because they said, well, the Tarkin's different too, and I didn't think it was.
Is it?
But they apparently thought it was.
No, it's not.
I just recorded a video of Cad Bane, the new Amazon one, compared to the original one, and I discover halfway or towards the end of my video that the Cad Bane's rebreather apparatus on my original one was missing, and I have no idea where it went.
Oh wow!
And now I hate life basically. I'm on Instagram at Trusty Sidekick. I'm on Twitter at Mike Case, and if you want to see some videos I don't make much of, I'm on the TikTok at Mike Case 82 when I decide to do anything on that.
Check out his light box.
Check out my light box.
It is very cool. It's
a nice light box.
And you can
Zach,
follow me.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, both with the same username. It's at the Star Wars Black Series. Also, support the show on Patreon if you wish. We would love to have you, especially if you want us to have Daniel Logan on one day. We might need. We might need.
Make it an order. Don't make it like an option. Like support. Support the show.
The pod.
We're gonna have a giveaway the first week, the first episode of December. We got figures to give away on Patreon supporters.
Oh, I thought the giveaway was the episode with Daniel. Yeah, we're giving away an episode with Daniel Logan.
Giving away an episode.
That'd be
free.
Cool too.
Yeah,
that'd be cool too. We do have merch. I'm repping the Rancor RIP shirt today. We have, so very cool shirt. Follow us on Twitter at TBS Cantina. join our Facebook group. We started one just like a more of a positive, like Black Series community. Talk about the podcast, talk about the figures, talk about anything you want. Criticize the podcast on there. Give us feedback. What can we do better? Yeah, if you think of any suggestions for the show,
less guests.
Less guests.
Fewer guests technically, but fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm a lesser guest.
Oh, gotcha. You want lesser guests?
Yeah,
I see.
Okay, I got you.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That
join the
checks out.
Facebook group. It's just Black Series Cantina, same as the podcast. And if you want to send us an email, feel free, blackseriescantina@gmail.com. And I am starving, so
yeah, me too.
I think that's going to do it.
Well, this has been a joy. Thank you both.
Thank you for being
This is
on. Absolutely.
a fabulous conversation. We
Yeah.
got very deep, and probably one of my
The
favorite
deepest.
episodes we've done. So thank
Honestly,
you, Ken.
I really
for,
enjoyed it.
for coming on. We
Yeah,
really,
well,
really
I've
appreciate
invited
it.
myself back for another episode in the future.
Oh,
Sounds
you are
good.
definitely going to be invited back. Yeah.
And it better be with Dan. Tell Dan I'm throwing the Dan.
We'll see what we
I'm
can
throwing,
do.
I'm
Oh,
throwing
a
the, no, I'm
twofer.
throwing the gauntlet down to Dan.
Okay.
Dan,
All right.
you come on as you. No character. You're coming on as Dan Larson, and we're going to do an episode.
Well, should we have like a Dan on by himself at one point to see what he if he can get a higher score than his last one, and then we combine? Or
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
that's up to you. But
right.
all I know is I'm throwing the gauntlet down.
Okay.
If he wants to break in the character of Dan Larson before he comes in and needs a solo episode to do so, fine. Whatever he needs for his process as he gets into the character. And it's been a long time since he played Dan Larson. Dan, I'm calling you out to come in.
I prefer Jericho Shark, his twin brother, but that's only for the deep cut Toy Galaxy, Secret Galaxy lore people.
Keep an eye out for Tanko McFadden, the holiday hipster, who will be here for the special Christmas episode that we're doing together.
All right.
All right,
great.
everybody.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Well, thanks for listening. Bye.